feel so seen with that question because that's something I really had to go through. Because that's the pressure, right? It's like, I'm not just here for myself. Like, I have all these voices and people behind me. And it was pretty emotional, and especially for the first few months, because I'm still, like, processing while I'm trying to spread awareness and to create more space for, like, what actually happened and the truth, and to fix those misnomers.
Welcome to Backpacker Radio, presented by the Trek, brought to you by Topo Athletic. I am your co-host, Zach Badger Davis. Sitting to my right is...
Hi, I'm Juliana Chauncey, a.k.a. Chauncey.
I got the direction wrong last time. I was making sure to not fuck it up this time.
No, that was the least of our worries on that one.
Yeah?
I mean, no. Are we going to start with processing?
Sure.
Okay. I think last episode we went through the phase of whiskey, which is one of the phases of grief.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a very important phase of grief.
Yeah.
And...
denial, whiskey.
Yep. I could do that without the listeners, but they've been through so much. And
yeah,
I
they're
feel like
along for the journey.
they all, all of them, they deserve one last unhinged Chance episode. We've both gotten old.
Wait, are you saying that
so
the last
boring.
episode was the last one?
Like, in my brain, I hope. Who could tell the future?
Not to tip anything, but I have a feeling the next episode could also take you there.
Yeah. I mean, she who is optimistic, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know all the stages of grief, so there could be more than one whiskey stage. All I'm saying is last week was a whiskey stage, and it was surprise whiskey, which made it even more enticing. And why keep that from the lovely listener?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to lose me soon enough. So if they have to press pause and digest, a 5-hour episode over the course of 3 months, it's one of the last ones you get.
That's true.
And anyone who hated it, I'm going to be gone soon. So,
that was enough.
Bide your time.
That was enough chance to get through the rest of 2026.
Right. Like, I'm making this breakup easier by making myself unbearable first.
Have you seen Housemaids?
Maybe.
With oh god.
Oh, The Housemaid?
Is that what it is?
Amanda Seyfried.
No,
Yeah.
that's The Handmaid.
Oh,
that's The Handmaid's Tale. No, not Amanda Seyfried.
She's right. Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney.
yes, and it's based on the book. And the lady's just psycho and tries to freak her out.
I can't go into why they're correlated, but
Yeah?
because it's a spoiler alert and it has nothing to do with boobs. I promise.
No, I'm thinking you're insinuating I'm a psycho.
No, it was.
Why would you get boobs?
The way that you're looking at me, I feel like I can't mention Sydney Sweeney as a guy without that being the response. But
No.
go on, Zach Davis. Tell me about it.
I hadn't thought about boobs.
Well, I did now that we're talking about it. But
now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, pom-poms as we call them here.
Yeah, I'll just say there's a plot twist in that movie that's not totally unrelated to what you're saying.
That about drinking whiskey, or just
if I say more, then I'm going to spoil alert the movie.
Okay, I don't plan on watching, but
No.
that's great. And so today,
that was all that was available on the flight.
Okay, that's great.
Not because of boobs.
Right, you didn't want to see boobs. Yes, so that was the whiskey phase. You're welcome or sorry for that, depending on how you enjoyed it or hated it. Today, I don't know what today's phase is,
Pilsner,
but
I think.
I came into this feeling very good about it. I came in being like, we just closed on the house on Thursday. I've started packing. I'm in a good headspace. And then I started driving here, and the sun was shining, and the weather was good. And I was like, I feel good about how this is going to go. And that's huge because today we put out the episode announcing that I was leaving.
Yep.
And to plan a podcast recording on the same day we announced that, with how I've been processing, feels cruel.
Right.
But we did it, and I'm here.
That was not intentional.
Yeah. Well, no. And I also didn't think about it until
I didn't either.
I turned on 6th Street, and I was looking at the mountains, and I had Noah Kahan's new album playing on the speakers, and I cried the whole way here.
I thought your eyes were red because of
Yeah, you mentioned that. I was like, I'll tell you on air. I was doing so well. And then I saw the mountains, and I was thinking about how many more drives to this podcast do I have where I'll be looking at this view, and the mountains looked nice, and the weather was hitting. And then I got sad. I mean, Noah's album's really sad, but then I got sad.
How much do you blame the mountains and how much do you blame Noah?
Everything was vibing in the right way.
Yeah.
And I was in such a good headspace 5 minutes prior.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where this episode will take me. I know it's not going to be the same direction as last time because
We don't have whiskey on the table currently.
Right, we're in a better
and time
place.
constraints. So thank you for putting the guardrails on us.
Yes. But today, I don't know. Today on the way here, it was crying. So maybe the theme of this week's processing is crying.
Okay.
I don't know.
I support that.
We'll see.
Yeah, I like that. I like acceptance, whiskey, crying, having different stages of processing.
I think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I'm in a whiskey stage today.
I don't think any of us are. It's a Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I think the last one was a Tuesday. Also not much of a whiskey day, but that doesn't matter. Okay, good. Well, I'm sure we'll continue to process as the episode goes on, but let's do some reminders before we get to our interview. I guess as a direct segue from processing is we have a live podcast. This is the Chance Sendoff podcast. This is going to be epic. This is going to be... You said that you're done being a train wreck for the podcast. I guarantee that'll be you at the live podcast.
Great.
I'll be a train wreck too. It'll be nothing but trains going off the rails.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I can't wait to wake up the next morning and regret everything.
Yeah, that'll definitely be an Uber to the event sort of affair, for at least for me.
Yeah.
But for you, if you're hearing this and we're not already sold out, definitely jump on, get your tickets. This is going down at the Skylark in Denver. Doors open at 6. Taping begins at 6:30. We've got a lot of surprises up our sleeve for this one. It's Chance's last definite in Colorado podcast. Though
Yeah.
I think the one at the end of the year. I don't want to tease. I will pretend like it's the
Yeah.
last one, but
Yeah. And I have no idea what up my sleeve means with what he's saying, but they put the link out today, and even if you're just curious about coming, it's a fun link to click because they put together, whoever did it, whoever was it was you?
it was me.
Wow, he put together a collage of terrible photos of me, and it is
Not
the
all
thumbnail. No, most are.
Yeah.
It's the thumbnail for the live podcast tickets.
Yeah.
So if for no reason other than just you need a laugh, check out the link.
Yeah. But if you're in the Denver area at the end of June, you got to come to this. It's
Yeah.
going to be epic.
I mean, what could be more depressing than it being empty?
No, it's like the way that Mexicans celebrate death. It is going to be a celebration. Not saying that
No,
death, but I'm
I
just
could
making an
figuratively
analogy.
die.
Okay, yeah. That's not what I was saying. This is meant to celebrate as
I want
opposed
to
to
be
mourn.
carried in a coffin.
Yeah.
And then you open it up and I come out like Dracula and then I take my seat.
Yeah. Undertaker, basically.
Yeah, everyone wear black.
That's fun. Next reminder is we've got a fun series of videos going down on the Trek's YouTube. That's with Andrew Skurka. The kickoff video that we did was him doing a very thorough demonstration on how to use the Backcountry bidet, including using your hands to do
Wipe
a
your
lot of the
shit
dirty
off your
work, which has drawn some interesting comments from people. He's no stranger to that. I think he gets that feedback every time he talks about his technique. But we're going to be releasing videos with the great Andrew Skurka every single week on the Trek's YouTube channel. So click the link in the show notes and subscribe, or just go to YouTube and search the Trek. But definitely subscribe. You want to make sure that you're getting these videos first, because I've been sitting in on all of the recordings of these, and they're great. The other YouTube note I've got here is we've got a brand new channel, and
Nope, I got
preemptive.
you clicked that one first.
I know that was
I just don't mind
deceptive.
me. I was just adjusting.
The other YouTube channel we've got is the Trek on Trail. This is the people who are out through hiking, documenting their journeys. We've spun this off into its own channel. That way we can keep the featured content on one track and the on-trail content on a different track. Be sure to subscribe to this. We've got 2 people on the PCT and another on the AT. We're keeping it in a small group for this first year, but 3 awesome, very engaging personalities, and we would love your support of them. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, the YouTube internet stuff, please. Next is, now you can do it, Chance.
If you're on YouTube and you're looking, I'm showing you my shirt.
Yep.
It's a new one.
Yep. This is going to be a limited run. This is the newest Backpacker Radio merch. It is fancy. It's got a ultralight trowel on the back with Backpacker Radio and a Can You Dig It. We'll spam you on Instagram so you can actually see it. But yeah, this is just a fun way to rep your favorite or maybe second favorite outdoor podcast, or third or fourth. We're not keeping score here. But yeah, this is just a fun way to show your love for Backpacker Radio and give Chance a little extra beer money, both of us a little extra beer money, as Chance begins her next journey into domesticated life on the East Coast.
You'll notice a convenient overlap in timing of this limited run and my limited remaining run. So don't sleep on it.
They both expire.
They're both expiring, so get them while you can.
Yeah, but the shirts are cool. Check them out.
Yeah.
Last but not least is, we'll continue to pump this up very much, deservedly so, is patreon.com/backpackerradio is where you go to get every episode advertisement free. But also, this is going to be mine and Chance's sandbox to continue the podcast as is in a different format.
Yep. Like cats in sandboxes, that will be where we start to shit instead of here. And so we're calling it BPR. It's BPR, but Patreon remote. So, you know, that way you can know that there's a difference, but also feel the same feelings. Giving it a name helps. Come hang out. I hope that you do come. Otherwise, it's going to be really depressing for me.
So Chance and I still need to talk through the exact details of what the Patreon thing is going to be, but I think we've loosely discussed that our minimum goal is 3 exclusive episodes per month. Some of those might be Chance solo. We'll probably do some like Zoom style chats as well. It'll be different than this podcast because I think the magic in this podcast is being in person, but we also want to maintain the Badger Chance connection, so we'll do what we can. But also Chance is going to be in a new area and have the opportunity to chat with new folks, and seems like she'll have a lot of time on her hands. Yeah.
Also, where was that thought? I just had it and then it went away. Oh no, I hate when this happens.
Drink your beer, it'll come back.
Oh, hold on. I had a thought.
I'll say the stuff.
Also, yes. If you have things that you're like, ugh, I hope they still do this, or I don't want to lose this. You know, like, for example, like, oh, I want them to do a question of the day each. I don't know. Just throwing out something. Any idea you have that you want that would make it worth it for you to go there, just let us know, because, again, it's a sandbox and we're testing things out in it, and we will take feedback and try to implement it where realistic.
Yeah. Good. I don't have anything else to add there. There's a lot of reminders. Okay, let's get to today's sorry, Liz.
Here it is.
Interview with Liz Randle, who's a former U.S. Forest Service field ranger who was fired by DOGE last February as an avid hiker, backpacker, and trail worker. She has transitioned into advocacy and activism work. Last summer, she started the podcast Rangers of the Lost Park to cover topics relating to public lands. Liz, thank you so much for joining us here on Backpacker Radio.
Oh, I'm so honored. Thank you, guys, especially while you're still here, Chance. It's so nice to be in the studio, and I've been a fan for a long time, so thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Also, A+ podcast name. I remember when I saw it on my podcast app, I was like, that's funny.
I can't take credit for it. My partner, he's the one that came up with it, and I was like, it's perfect. And I hate that wasn't my idea, but I'm very into it. So
you could just say it was.
I could, you know.
Just steal the glory.
No.
Yeah.
I want to start off by complimenting your tattoos. I like your tattoos.
Thank you. I have a ranger raccoon. For the YouTubers.
What's the story there?
I got it actually after being illegally fired by DOGE. I wanted to commemorate my ranger friends and my time as a ranger. It's kind of funny because the U.S. Forest Service, the only rangers technically are the district rangers, because you think of more of like park rangers with National Park Service. Forest Service workers are forestry technicians, but I don't think that sounds as cool, so I just say rangers. So.
What's the significance of the raccoon? Because I noticed it's also on your bolo tie.
I just love raccoons. I think they're so cool. I think they're so underrated by folks that don't like them. I'm just like, I don't understand how you couldn't like this cute little trash panda. They're amazing. And they're so smart. And I used to work in wildlife rehab for a little bit. And whenever we had baby raccoons, oh my God, it was incredible.
Did you get to hold them?
No. So we had to be really careful because they imprint on humans really easily. So you have to actually wear like a full ghillie suit, like what hunters wear, and have like big giant boots, and you have to like, it's kind of sad, you have to like bang on pots and pans to scare them away from you. I know, it's heartbreaking because they come up to you just like, hi, and you're like, no, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
Get away.
If I was in that field, I would leave with 100 raccoons imprinted on me and like getting fired.
Well, there's a lot of people that do that, especially in
Really?
like backwoods, like not actual rehab facilities. Like, I mean, my uncle owned a raccoon in Arkansas.
I have a friend whose parents domesticated a raccoon. I think maybe a couple of them.
I
Yeah.
keep telling Garrett that's one of my first goals.
Yeah. I think to Liz's point, I don't know if it's that hard. Like, I think they're
No,
like...
I mean, you have to be careful though, because they can carry rabies. So
Right.
you have to be careful of that if you get bit. But I mean, that's why you have to get a rabies shot when you work in wildlife rehabilitation. So I got mine, and I got it covered by when I was on OHP, Oregon Health Plan at the time. So that was nice. So life hack for people: if you're in Oregon and you have OHP, just go get a rabies shot, because it's so expensive if you actually get rabies or get bit to go to the hospital after that. Whereas if you just get the shot, like, you're good for life. So
Why haven't we domesticated raccoons?
It's just foolishness.
well, they haven't been bred like dogs and cats to have like the aggressive tendencies go away. So they're quite aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you get better from rabies? I thought we talked about this once, and we thought you just die,
Yeah, I think you die.
right?
Yeah,
So if you don't have the shot and you get rabies, you just die.
pretty much.
And if you do have the shot, you just don't die.
Pretty much.
Can you treat rabies?
I would like to get the shot.
I think it's, I'm sure there's been stories of people that recovered somehow, but I think in general, yeah, it's not a good chance.
Not treatable once symptoms appear. So if it gets to the point where you're symptomatic,
Yeah.
you gone.
You're not going to know before. Well, I guess you would know.
If you got bit by an
you
animal,
would know that the
yeah.
animal
Did
bit you.
you see that crazy video recently of a beaver that was rabid and it attacked somebody?
I did see that.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
was
think-
going after a kid, right?
Yeah.
What?
Was it in Canada? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, because beavers are a rabies vector species, so they can transmit it. And yeah, they're territorial animals, and especially when they are aggressive from having this like neurological problem with rabies, I mean, they can charge, and they have severe bites. There's been people that have died by beavers before.
Oh, they got big teeth.
Yeah, they do.
Didn't the parents like end up grabbing the beaver and like chucking it back
What?
into
So
the
they like
pond?
yeeted it back into the
I
Yeah.
have to
water.
look this video up.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the beaver. I mean, I feel bad for everybody involved, obviously, but I feel bad for the beaver because it's like, unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah.
And
What do I
then, yeah,
search?
people in the wrong place.
Beaver chasing.
And I don't know, because I don't get a full context from the video, but I kind of have a feeling they were harassing it, or maybe like getting too close. I don't know. This is my hot take with like wildlife: is like, leave them the fuck alone. Like, don't
Yeah.
go near them. Just keep your distance. Like, don't try to channel like some Disney fantasy. Just leave them alone. And I think that's so. If you call yourself an animal lover, but you go and you bug wildlife, I question if you actually love them.
Yeah, that's a great take.
So.
Oh my God.
You're watching the video.
They watched it.
They threw it like you would throw a kid in a pool.
And they're heavy, so
Yeah.
that took effort. That must
Sure.
adrenaline going.
That's like lifting the car off
Why
your...
are they not letting their dog is just in the water next to it? They're not even stopping
that
their
was
dog.
kind of my thought. Was like, I don't think these people were very smart.
No,
in
they don't
approaching
look. They don't
this.
appear to be that way. Also, convenient how the video starts when they're in the water struggling with it.
Right, exactly.
I would like to
Because
know
I
what
don't know
happened
if they were
beforehand.
throwing something at it. I don't want to assume because I don't know, but
This
it
happened in New
happens.
Jersey?
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of throwing stuff at animals, did you guys see the crazy video with the guy in Maui that threw the giant rock at the seal?
Oh my God.
Maui. God,
You
I
haven't
don't
seen
know
this
if
video?
No. Should
This
I
is-
not?
It's
No, it
hard
ends
to
up being
watch.
okay because he throws like basically a bowling ball sized rock at an endangered seal
The monk
species.
seal.
Why does he do that?
Yeah.
Ugh!
Yeah.
It's very
So
upsetting.
What the fuck?
know that he misses the seal. The seal's fine. That's an important thing. But seeing its reaction, you'd
Someone
think that.
should throw a rock at him.
Well, so
That's what I
he
wanted
got
to
his
do.
he got his ass beat.
Really?
Yeah.
Where? By
Like
whom?
shortly thereafter, they show a short
Like
clip.
right on his ass.
Yeah, they show a short clip of like a Hawaiian fella just fucking giving him the old 1-2.
Good for that guy.
I didn't see that part. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Well, and then I saw some clip with I don't know if it's like the mayor of the city or the governor of Hawaii or what it was, but like talking through it and being like, we don't condone violence, but and basically like
But on that guy?
Yeah.
We do. For
But
the seals.
now this guy's getting doxxed. He's just the worst person of all time. I hope he gets
I fully
sentenced.
support public shaming people that do stuff like that.
To that extent,
Yeah.
that's just a villain. Like that doesn't
I
need, that
support
person does not need to be
doxing.
around society.
Yeah, I don't. How do you get that silly in the head that you're on land and he's in the water and you throw a big rock at him? That was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So those are two sad things.
Yeah, we're completely off
any
the track
fun
there.
animal videos?
Well, okay, I have a fun rehab story that was really cute.
Lighten the mood for me.
Yeah, so I worked in wildlife rehab at a nonprofit called Think Wild, and it's in Bend, in Oregon, where I live. And in between seasons with the Forest Service, I always had to try to find some other work. And anybody that's listening that's worked seasonal jobs, like, you guys get it. It's, you got to find something, and you want something fulfilling, because it's really depressing going, nothing wrong with being a barista. I did that for years, but it was like so depressing going from working out in the woods all day, all summer, to just being indoors, dealing with cranky old people all day. I was just like, this sucks. So I finally was like, okay, there's this rehab, wildlife rehab center. Why not? I'll apply. And they had an internship program, and I was like, sure. And I went for it, and then they chose me to come on as an intern, and then later they hired me as a rehabilitation technician. Oh no, sorry, let me say that again. So I volunteered there as an intern, and then they hired me as the wildlife education assistant. And so I went to schools and taught kids about wildlife, and like especially about local wildlife. I went to the Warm Springs tribe, their elementary school, and then Madras, they have a really high Hispanic population, so it was like we're trying to get to these demographics that are often overlooked, especially Oregon is so incredibly Caucasian, so it's really good to focus on these cultures and communities that aren't, and that they're very much a part of the community. So we would try to be more inclusive and go to them, because a lot of times they live out in these more rural areas and they're not as able to come to Bend or to the urban areas to experience these really cool programs. So I did that. But I want to talk about when I was doing the internship as a rehabilitation technician. One of our patients was a porcupet, so like a baby porcupine.
Is that what they call the babies?
They call them, and they're so fucking cute. It's insane. And it got like stuck in between these people's fence. Somebody's dog was like trying to like mouth it, and dog got quills. They don't shoot their
This is
quills.
supposed to be a happy story.
I know. Well, it gets better, and there's a good ending. So, anyways, I mean, this is the reality of like humans living around wildlife.
Sounds like the plot of Homeward Bound.
Except, yeah, that dog was a bit more aggressive. But they don't shoot their quills. I wanted to point that out, because they can't do that. But if you touch them, it'll come out, and then it'll stick to you because they're barbed. But anyways, we had this little porcupet, and it was just the cutest thing in the entire world. And you also have to be careful not to have them imprint on you, so you're wearing the ghillie suits as well. Actually, most baby wildlife, you have to do that, because like especially like corvids, like scrub jays, crows, ravens, like they're so smart, and so they'll be like, oh, humans equal getting
Not
food.
me.
So that's
3
why
years from now, find me in my backyard. I'm gonna have everything that can imprinted.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to befriend crows. You want them
I think so,
having your
too.
back. For
It's
sure.
a good vibe,
Yeah.
yeah. But I can't condone it as a past rehabber, but you guys do you. But yeah, so this little porcupet was so cute, and it was a girl, and she would make these like squeaky noises when she was hungry, and when you were feeding her, she'd be like this just cutest little like, like, I don't know, it was insane. And we all have to be like really quiet when we're around them, because again, you don't want to be like human noises, and we're all like, oh my god, like silent yelling to each other. Like, it's just so cute. And then she ended up being released, and it was so cute. We like set up this little, we call it like a soft release, when they have kind of a little enclosure that's like kind of loosely enclosed. It's like a little fence with like kind of how you do for dogs in your yard or something, like if you're RVing. And then we had like a juniper tree there, and so she was like climbing, and we're like, okay, I think she's gonna do good. But yeah, they're so cute.
It looks like a Pixar character. Like,
I'm actually surprised like they don't have a Pixar movie with like a baby porcupine as the
also, the name
protagonist.
Porcupet is just so
know.
perfect.
So cute.
Yeah, everything
It's so
about that is
cute.
perfect.
But it was such a happy ending, and I got to, my partner and I, he came with me, and we got to release her together, and that was like so cool. So that was the happy one. We had a lot of happy stories. A lot of wildlife makes it, which is great. So that was really fun. But yeah, I did that in between seasons, working for the Forest Service, and I mean, being really well-rounded and being a jack of all trades is super important when being outside. I mean, you guys know, like, just knowing a little bit about a lot can go a long way.
Sure.
And that's kind of been my life
Yeah.
up until this point, knowing a little bit about a lot of things.
Well, in your position with the podcast, you're picking up a lot, I'm sure, even faster than you were before.
Yeah, talking to all sorts of cool people. So my podcast, I started it in May technically, but my first episode didn't come out until July, and I started it with another former Fed who I met at the State of the Union in Washington, D.C., which was a wild experience.
You guys call each other Feds?
Oh, yeah, like fired Feds, former Feds, yeah. I mean, I think in the context of last year, it was more common hearing that because it was what they were saying in the news, too, and to kind of, like, parrot that made sense for coverage and people kind of going with, like, the stream of what media was saying. So it was helpful for people with context because I've had to switch up a lot of my verbiage, actually, to adapt.
I'm gonna pause you there. Before we get into like the podcast and what it is and stuff, I think the pre-story of how you got to it helps set the stage for what it is.
Yeah.
So just to jump back quick, we talked about the cute animals.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go from working with baby animals to doing literally anything else? Why would you ever stop? And how did you transition from that to the field ranger work?
Yeah, well, I think because I've been a career federal employee with the Forest Service for 9 years. I started in 2016 as a volunteer, and then from 2017 to 2023, I was a seasonal, and then I finally got a permanent job in 2023. And you have to climb the ladder. It takes a long time, and that's why, like, when all the firings happened and people were like, what's happening, like, what's going on, and some people were saying, like, just get another job, whatever. It's like, it's not just a job, though, because it's a career path. Like, you have to climb this ladder. I started as a volunteer making nothing, and then going up to GS3, which is so, like, no money, GS4, GS5, and then I finally got to a 6, and I was making $19 an hour as a permanent employee. So you don't do it for the money. You do it because you love being outdoors and being around people and teaching them how to leave no trace and working out on trails. And I've done a lot from fire to natural resources to recreation. I've worked on the PCT doing trail work, and it was just really rewarding. And I think because that was my ultimate goal, even though I loved doing the wildlife stuff, it was incredible. It was also really sad. Like, it was really hard working in that world, and it's definitely a lot more like medicine based than I expected because I just didn't know as much about it. But it is really heavy on the, like, you're giving them, like, the medication they need, and then if they aren't going to make it, you have to, like, euthanize them, which is humane.
No.
But that was hard for me. Some people are really good at compartmentalizing and they power through it, and we need those people because they're doing amazing work. I wasn't one of them. I was like, this is too sad. I cried every time. I was like, I can't.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm too sensitive. So I think just it was like a combo of that, and then I just loved working for the Forest Service. It's not perfect. There's a shit ton of stuff wrong with it. But I loved my people, I loved the work I did, and I had goals to climb it and to be a ranger, like a district ranger, and maybe even the chief one day. Like, I really was like, this is it. Like, this is my calling. This is what I want to do. So when that was taken away, it was really hard. But yeah, it was really cool. I loved working for the Forest Service.
You mentioned the career ladder that you have to go up to get to the role that you ended at, and you talked about GS3 through 6. What do those mean for someone that isn't familiar with the logo, and what does each entail?
Thanks for asking, and I that's a good reminder because we do tend to use a lot of acronyms in the federal world, and especially in public lands agencies. So it's like a government salary, GS, and then your number is where you are on the scale. So technically 0, 1 would be the lowest, but I think the lowest GS level I met was a 2. And that's like Job Corps, Youth Corps type work, I think, for the most part. And then most firefighters you meet are GS3s and GS4s. It's like they're not making much. The time they make the most money is when they actually go on a fire and work an incident and are doing like a 14-day plus assignment. So yeah, that's what that means. And as you climb, it's easier when you become a permanent employee. It's a lot harder as a seasonal because you have to just get so much experience to qualify for the next level. So when you finally get that permanent job, you're able to kind of make that a little bit easier.
Is it
So-
purely merit-based, or is there politicking involved? Like, is it just the amount of time that you put in, or what does it look like behind the scenes to move up?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a mixture. The unfortunate side, and this is what I meant, is like it's not perfect, is sometimes you'll see people in leadership positions and you're like, how the hell did you get to that? That makes no sense. And a lot of times people get like promoted up to get them out of their hair, which is really frustrating.
I can't fire you, so I send you up.
You see it a lot in certain departments. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but it's unfortunate. But that's not very common. You definitely see it and you hear about it and you're like, that sucks. But most of the time,
That's how we ended up with our president.
Who knows? But yeah, most of the time it's you are gaining more federal service so that you have that experience, so you're able to, but it really depends on the job availability. That's what's another part, is it's hard because I've worked the same seasonal number and same position multiple times because it's like there wasn't any openings for a higher position, and I didn't have that federal service because they don't really count seasonal work. Like, that's the hard part. They count your federal work. Like, when I got my permanent job, I was put in a probationary status, which just means like your trial period. Basically, it just means like we're making sure you're a good fit, and if we don't like you, we can get you out easier than if you weren't in that, which is kind of crazy because I was like, I've been here at that point for like 7 years, like, okay, but I get it, like, that's fine. So yeah, it's a bit of like openings, like what's available, and then your experience, and then also it really helps like who you know, because like networking and like having a good reputation is super important. The good reputation especially, like, it's really, I know I just said like sometimes people get promoted because they suck, but honestly most of the time people get promoted because they do a really good job, and there's some really amazing folks, especially in the trails world. Those guys are like incredible. Like, they've been doing it forever. You don't really get somebody that wants a high up position in trails that's never done it before.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like all this experience. That answers the question.
What I was going to ask what tips you have for someone that's working their way up, but I feel like you kind of just gave that. So pivot slightly on your path from going from 3 to 6 on this GS scale. What do you think your biggest accomplishments were? Like, what helped you get to that 6, and what, like, when you look back, are the big things that you remember that you're like, that I'm proud of myself?
I like that. I think it's important to remind ourselves what we're proud of. So that's a great question. I think for me, I was really good at task management and just getting things done that really needed to be done, because you'll often hear a narrative sometimes from people that don't really like the Forest Service or the feds in general, and they're like, you know, waste of tax dollars, what are they even doing, they never do anything, and it's like, that's so not true. You just don't always see what we're doing. Like, unless you're a thru hiker and you see a beautifully cleared section 3 of the PCT, it's like, that was because of us, like, we helped do that. And then of course we rely a lot on volunteers because trail crews are very notoriously understaffed. But yeah, I think for me that, and then I've called in so many fires. Like, I've found a lot of lightning strikes. I'm really good at working on an incident as a militia fire, which just means like my main job was not primary fire, but I was red carded, so it means that I'm able to go out on a fire assignment. And actually, like 80% of fire camp is militia fire, not even like primary fire. It's like logistics, communications, food, beverage, sanitation, public security, so much. Then often I would do public security and go and like reinforce parameters of like where the closure was, and a lot of times I'd find lightning strikes that way because you have to clear the public out, and then you're able to kind of patrol a little bit easier. So that's been really helpful. And I think also I'm just really positive. I mean, I definitely have my moments where I'm not, and lately, the last year, it's been a little bit more of that, unfortunately, but I think I'm generally like a pretty fun person to be around, especially outside. Like, I like to goof around, but I'm also like I said, I really like to get things done and to, you know, be proud. At the end of the day, I don't want to just like twiddle my thumbs and do nothing. That's not fulfilling. That's not why I want to work outside. So I think that's really helpful. And I've also done a lot of leadership training, so that's been super great. Being able to learn how to manage people in a way that honors all different types of leadership styles and different types of people. Like, you have people that are more analytical, people that are more headstrong, people that are more amiable maybe, or like kind of want more of the peacekeeping, and some people that are the opposite of that. And so you have to work with all of these different types of people because it's such a melting pot. So I think that was really helpful too. Gotten a lot of awards, and that was great for just my track record. So
What kind of awards?
A couple different cash awards, which is like amazing in the Forest Service because you don't make much, so you're like, thank you. And then also just like sometimes they'll have like cool smoky swag, and like they'll do like a end of the year kind of like soccer party where everybody gets together and like they do little speeches and awards for everybody. But it goes on your actual record too that you were awarded for hard work, like you exceeded expectations, you did a really good job. Like, it sounds silly, but it actually does really matter for going forward. But the cash awards were the best.
And then talk to me about the location. Like, are you assigned to a specific region? How does that aspect work?
Yeah, well, right now we still have regions, but I was in Region 6, which is the Pacific Northwest, so that's Washington State and Oregon. And specifically, I worked on the Umpqua National Forest, Willamette National Forest, and the Deschutes National Forest. And it was amazing. I loved being out there. I got to be in like the west side of the Cascades that were just like lush and like cedar trees and, you know, beautiful flowing streams and moss and ferns. And then on the east side, you have like ponderosa pines and huge mountains and high, you know, sagebrush steppe, like high desert. And it was such a cool landscape to be able to work in all these different types of areas. So it was really pretty amazing. But yeah, mostly I've just lived in Oregon working for the Forest Service. When I moved back there in 2015, I made that like my goal to get an outdoors job, and I landed with that. So, yeah.
So, okay, we know where this is going, but now that we've got the background of your 7 years with them, let's slow it down a bit. When does it start going downhill? And, like, what are the vibes? Mm-hmm. And can you just, like, walk us through the nitty-gritty of what happens next in a little more of a, like, slower, more detail?
Yeah, and I'm going to try to keep this not super political because I think it's important for people just to hear, like, the factual truth of what happened and not have, like, my opinions in there. So what happened was in January, once our new administration came in, it's normal for hiring freeze to happen. That's normal. Every time there's a new administration, that happens. But some stuff that wasn't normal was that, I mean, later on, the hiring freeze went way longer than it normally does, which is crazy. But they came in really hot, and they started saying, like, right off the bat, like, they were, like, when they created DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, they were like, okay, we need supervisors that you need to tell us who your probationary employees are. And it started like that, and we're like, why? That's weird, you know? And again, probationary employee is somebody who's just new in their permanent role. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. It's not like a probation. But it's just like your trial period again, like I said. But most people make it through that. You don't really want to hire somebody permanently that you don't like. It's not very common. So anyways, they wanted us to give the names, which was weird. And then slowly things just started getting weirder and weirder and weirder with DOGE specifically. We were getting like emails that made no sense. They were like flag sender. They didn't have a signature or like an opener. It was just like, it looked like spam. Like, we thought they were phishing emails, and so a bunch of us were reporting them to HR. We're like,
what were they
is
saying?
This? Well, so one of them was titled Fork in the Road, and that's not even making this up. And the email, flag sender with the big red exclamation point, and it said, quit your job, go on that vacation you've always wanted, and take this resignation and get paid, and yeah, leave the Forest Service, essentially is what it said. And all of us, like, we were like laughing. Like, what is this? It was so strange. And then we finally figured out, oh, this is coming from DOGE. Because, again, it wasn't signed. And then finally OPM, which is the Office of Personnel Management, which is basically like the federal HR of our government, they were finally saying, like, oh, it's from OPM. And we're like, okay. And then they sent more. And then they said they sent this really long one with, like, 4 pillars. And it was like saying like the 4 pillars of the government, and like I don't know, it was just so again, it was like so spammy.
I want more of these emails. Tell me more about the emails.
I know, I feel like it's a little fuzzy now because it's been a while, but I've talked about it enough that I remember the basics. And yeah, like there was just some weird stuff in there. And then, so basically, we realized that this was actually legit. So they were literally asking people to quit their job, and they'll pay you out for, I think it was like 8 months. Like, we'll pay you for 8 months if you just quit now. We'll pay you to do nothing, which is so weird to me because you hear people say like, my tax dollars are being wasted. I'm like, that is what I would consider a waste of taxes. Like, what do you mean? So that happened, and a few people took it, but most of us were like, this isn't legit, because Congress hadn't even allocated the funds to go towards that yet. So they were literally offering something that didn't exist. And so some people, like I said, took it, but most people didn't. So then they came back, and they were pissed, and they were like, not enough of you took this. Whoa. You guys need to take this. And then again, it was like, go on that vacation you want. We're like, what the hell? And so then we started getting kind of like a little sweaty, because we're like, this is like starting to feel a little hostile. Like we're starting to feel like this isn't as funny anymore. Now this is getting like kind of creepy and weird. And so,
was there anything personalized to the Forest Service, or was this just all federal employees?
That's a good question. I think it was blanketed to a bunch of different agencies. So yeah, it wasn't just to the Forest Service. Yeah.
It's personalized to the person's vacation search history. Yeah, so right. She's getting like a thumbnail of the AT. Yeah.
They have like an ad on the bottom of like...
They saw that you recently looked up a flight to Greece, so yours is customized.
I know, it was, oh my gosh. Yeah, like I said, many laughs over that, but also a lot of like, what the fuck is going on?
And what's the email then? Is this like something at doge.com, or like what's the .edu?
I can't remember.
EDU.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, who knows? Right. But no, I think it came from. I think it came from just like a .gov. I think it was from OPM, their server. I can't remember now, but I'm sure if I looked it up, I could find it. But yeah, and so then after that. It closed and they kept extending the period of it being open, because they're like, we need more of you to take this, and while this is happening, they're still saying like, tell us who your probationary employees are. So again, it's like all of this is happening simultaneously in like a month maybe. And so then when February came in, that's when we started getting word that they were going to fire probationary employees. And we're like, what do you mean? And they're like, nothing's official yet. Like, nobody knew anything. Like, our supervisor's like, we have no idea. Calling HR, they're like, we have no idea, which is based in Albuquerque. It's like our whole, the USDA, U.S. Forest Service, HR is there. And yeah, they didn't know. And I was like, if you guys don't know, what is happening? Like, how does no one know? And it's because all of that was being done in D.C. by DOGE, like, they weren't communicating that with anybody. And they did that for a reason, because they didn't want people to start like, kind of going against it. So that's why they came in hot all at once. And so they came out on February 14th. All the probationary employees got this email that said, based on your performance, you are no longer considered public interest, and basically like you're fired.
Based on your performance.
And yeah, and which made no sense, because and it was blanket again. Like there was no personalization.
Day.
Yeah, and it was on President's Day weekend, so it was on a Friday that they did that. And then I actually didn't get my phone call and email till Saturday. I was like at Planet Fitness showering, and I got out and I had a missed call, and I just knew. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting fired, aren't I? And my supervisor, she was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. And like she was crying. Like, I mean, it was crazy. And I just felt like all these emotions, like of disbelief, like the waves of grief, It's like disbelief, anger, confusion, sadness. I definitely had whiskey like the next day. That's
phase.
Actually, no, I had a whole bottle of wine to myself. That's what I did.
Nice.
And I called like all my closest friends, just like drunk crying to them. I had to get it out.
Did you get the 8 months pay too, or was it like you don't get that anymore?
No, so I think that was the thing, is they're like, we want you guys to take this, or else like the looming threat is like you could get fired. But again, I didn't trust it because nothing was allocated. So I was like, there's no way. And also, I wouldn't have taken it anyways, because I was like...
Is the idea, if you take that, then you also don't collect unemployment?
I believe so. That was like a whole other thing, because once they fired everybody, it was like thousands of people from each agency. So there was the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and then there was other agencies that weren't public lands-based that went through that as well, like, you know, Institute of Health and NOAA, who's our weather, just a bunch of agencies that do such important work, and yeah, all these people. So everybody's like gunning for unemployment at that point. I couldn't get it. Like, I couldn't get in, and they gave me the wrong L number, and I was just like, all right, looking for a job, I guess. But yeah, it was super weird. And then, you know, people, when I went in the office, this is like crazy, because the district I worked on the Deschutes National Forest, like, we had a pretty big district. Like, we were in the supervisor's office, the SO as we call it, and we had a lot of people there. And it's very mixed, like, politically, culturally. Like, we have a lot of different types of people there. And that's a preference, or that's setting up, because going in, literally everyone was crying. Like, even the conservative OHV guy that, you know, supported this administration and stuff, you know, and even he was like, this is so fucked up. I'm so sorry. Like, we had no idea this was going to happen. And I was like, yeah, it sucks. And I think, like, seeing everybody crumbling around me, because it was really emotional. I think it actually, like I said, I had my wine night. I had to do that. After that, and then just seeing everybody, like, not okay, it weirdly, like, motivated me to be okay and to, like, fight and do something. I think it comes from, like, growing up in kind of a traumatic household, is like, you see chaos and you just kind of have to be the stable one, because if you're not, no one is. So I think that intuition just kind of kicked in, and I was like, all right, I gotta do something. And like I said, like, I loved working out in the woods. I just kind of kept my head down, worked as a field ranger, you know, in the backcountry, and just made sure people weren't, like, overstaying 14 days, weren't leaving abandoned fires, picking up trash dumps, talking to the public, to all of a sudden now I'm an activist. It was so weird and kind of scary at first, because as a Fed, you know, as a federal worker, that's ingrained in you to not talk to the news. Like, you're always representing the Forest Service or whatever agency you're working for. You don't do that, you know, but I had to fight against that. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to stand up for you guys. Like, we're going to do something. And then after that, I mean, I'm not talking about me anymore, just the whole thing. They offered the deferred resignation program later, which they did allocate funds for, and a lot of people took that, because I think a lot of people were really scared that they were also going to get fired, which was valid, because they did RIF, which is a reduction in force, more people. And it was, a lot of it went unannounced, a lot of it wasn't in the news. Like, I know somebody who was a probationary employee who was fired and then rehired and then fired again. And she was the only front desk worker for a ranger district. It's like, now, like, the fisheries guy is working the front desk. You know, like, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, it was a wild year. And if there's anything else you want to know, I'm happy to answer, but that's the gist.
Is there any optimism amongst your former employees that with a new administration, your job could be there waiting for you again?
I think some people are really hopeful that things will get better, because each administration is so different, you know, and I think depending on who we have, if they are more public, like pro-public lands and more, you know, protective of federal workers, I think people will feel more drawn to go back if they're not there anymore, or they were thinking about going and then they decided not to. Because I talk to people that are still in school and they're like, should I change my degree? Should I not do natural resources? And I'm like, no, keep doing it. Like, this isn't going to be forever. I think that's another thing too, is that I'm talking about a lot of stuff that's, like, kind of heavy and, like, very depressing. But honestly, like, it's joy that's going to get us through it. And I think that's, like, a really great form of resistance to the stuff that's happening. So it's really important for us to look ahead and to think, like, there will be better days. And what we do now is really important for getting there. And so that's kind of been my focus, is, like, shifting it away from the, like, this fucking sucks, like, what do we do narrative, to, like, okay, yeah, this sucks, like, let's do something and let's, like, come together and talk about it, and also just celebrate the cool stuff that we do that deserves more support. So that's, yeah, where I'm at.
How fast or slow is that transition? Like, from going from the shock of losing the job to the realization of, I want to do something. maybe somewhere in there, like, writing it in your burn book and being like, this sucks, to actually putting yourself on air and then finding some success in it? Like, how fast or slow was that process?
It was so fast. Like, alarmingly fast. It was weird. Like I said, I was like, this is strange. Like, what do I do? And it was interesting because, again, like, a lot of people weren't speaking up. This is when Signal became, like, a big thing, for me at least. I'd never had it before, Signal, the app, and because it's, like, unencrypted, or so they say. So a lot of people were using that. We had, like, all these, like, fired federal worker threads, fired ranger threads, that were saying, like, hey, this person from NPR wants to talk to somebody. Who wants it? Crickets. People would be like, ah. I'm like, who wants to do a live CNN? And everyone's like, hell no. And so I just saw, like, all these opportunities that weren't being taken, and I don't blame them. I'm like, I don't blame you at all. That is scary. And especially if you're in a mental state where you're not okay, that's like, ugh, I don't think they should. Like, they don't want to misrepresent or fumble, So I just was like, fuck it, I'll do it. Like, sure, I'll take it. Give me live CNN. Who cares?
So you were on live CNN?
Yeah, CNN International. That was,
Whoa.
yeah. And then I was on a German one as well, which was, I was like, thank you for caring.
So this is easy for you, is what you're saying?
It became easier. I've always been good at public speaking, and I'm really comfortable. I'm pretty extroverted, and I'm very comfortable, like, expressing things to people that I'm passionate about. So I think it was just a little, like, scary at first because I wasn't sure what direction the news was going to take it, because I was hearing from some people, I think a lot of people were just really confused, and that's what motivated me. I was like, let's just, like, clear up the misinformation, because I was getting people, like, I posted on my Instagram, like, I'm a fired Fed, this is what happened, I worked for the Forest Service, blah blah, everything I told you guys. And then people would comment and be like, but you were probationary, so that means, like, you were not a good employee anyways. And I was like, no, that's not what that means. Like, so I was like, okay, I think this is just really complicated, and this is weird, and this is, like, never happened before, and I have enough federal experience, and I was caught in the crosshairs, and I'm, like, somewhat weirdly okay. Like, I wasn't okay, but it was like, doing good, like, I can do this. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start, like, correcting the misinformation. So that was the motivator, was just doing that. And so it made it easier because it's like, it flows naturally. Like, I love talking about what I did. I really care about those people, even the ones I didn't really like. I'm like, I still want to protect you. Like, even though we didn't see eye to eye personally, like, you still didn't deserve to just be thrown out like that. That's crazy. So it was important to do that. And yeah, it became pretty easy, and I just, like, gobbled them up. Like, people were just throwing them at me at that point. They're like, you'll take it. Like, here's a random KGW 5L plus whatever from somewhere in Montana. I'm like, sure, let's do it. Like, whatever. So yeah, and I passed it to other people too. Like, I tried to kind of, like, gently nudge people into it. I'm like, it's not that bad. They need to hear from other people than just me. Like, I don't want to hug. Not doing this for the spotlight. I'm doing this for awareness. But, like, we need to get more of us, like, slowly, like, come, my children, you can do it.
Did you take any sort of media training or anything?
No. Probably should have, maybe.
No.
You mentioned misrepresenting something in passing, but what is it like for you in this transition, starting to take these with the weight of, this is my experience and this is what I went through, but I'm representing all these people that went through it, and they might have different experiences or gone through different things, and what I say on these public places represents all of, like, how did you handle the pressure of living up to that and not misrepresenting the voices?
I feel so seen with that question, because that's something I really had to go through. It was because that's the pressure, right? It's like, I'm not just here for myself. Like, I have all these voices and people behind me, and it was pretty emotional, and especially for the first few months, because I'm still, like, processing while I'm trying to spread awareness and to create, more space for, like, what actually happened and the truth, and to, fix those misnomers. And yeah, I think when I first went to DC, because I got invited to the State of the Union, which is a big deal. It's also called the Joint Address, because it was not a traditional State of the Union that our president did last year. And it was because my representative, my congresswoman for Oregon's 5th District, she saw me on the news, and so she wanted to take a fired federal worker to the Joint Address. And so she chose me, and then another colleague of mine went with our senator, And I met a bunch of other former federal workers that were there as well with their representative or senator, for that same reason. I think it was just to like show solidarity, for like support these people or whatever. And when I went there, it was, I had these like packets of all these different probationary employee stories, because I asked people like, send me your story, like who are you? You don't have to say your name, but where did you work? What did you do? And what does it mean now that you're gone? And like, there is really powerful, like a ton of trails people, man, like, so, because we got a bunch of like magic funding in 2023, and a bunch of like Montana, Utah, Colorado, Oregon, like a bunch of us got permanent jobs for like trail crews, and that's so needed. And I know your listeners know that more than anybody probably, how important that is for safety and for ease, you know, for lack of a better term. And so a lot of those folks were wilderness trails folks. And so I had all these people send me their stories. And so when I gave them to like any senator that would listen to me, any congressman, I was like, please take this. Like, this really matters. Like, I gave one to like Elizabeth Warren, and like anybody that there was like this, what's it called? Like reception before it. And there's just like all these like, it was like a fever dream. It was so weird. Like all these, I'm like, you guys are real. What? All these politicians in one room. I almost knocked Nancy Pelosi over. I didn't see her. She's so tiny. I like turned around really fast, and she was like, ah. I was like, Nancy Pelosi, I'm so sorry. But yeah, like just handing it out to anybody, Republican and Democrat and independent. Like I didn't pick and choose. It was like, hey, you're a politician, here you go. And that was hard because anytime somebody would stop to like really ask me about it, I would like kind of start crying, and I hated that because I was like, no, like I gotta be tough. And then the second time I went to DC was in June last year. Earth Justice flew me out, and it was kind of funny because it was all these like environmental organizations, like nonprofits, and then me. And when I showed up, they're like, "What's your org?" I was like, "Just be." They're like, "What do you mean?" It's like fired fed, and they're like, "Okay." So I was the only voice for that in this whole fly-in, and yeah, that was hard. Like trying to talk in front of all the orgs that they were very empathetic to. You know, it's like. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, but I think a big issue you'll see in the federal world, especially with land management agencies, is that sometimes there's like nonprofit orgs and the feds that like butt heads, and they don't like, you know, they'll have disagreements, especially with like logging projects and, you know, things like that, which makes sense. Like I'm very environmentally focused, and there's a lot of things that some of our agencies do that I don't like, including the Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management. Like, pretty outspoken about that. But anyways, you get like these issues all the time. So I was really nervous to talk to all these people. I'm like, are they going to care? Are they going to be like, good, we don't like you? And they were so kind and like so empathetic, and I was just bawling because they were so nice. I didn't expect it. Now, fast forwarding it, I can talk about it without crying, and I'm like, it's more of like the story now as opposed to the reality that it was during that time.
You mentioned in your answer there that there are some things that the U.S. Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management did that you didn't agree with. Mm-hmm. What are some of those things? I
think there's a bit too much of a myth poured into the extraction piece being needed more than it actually is, especially looking at timber. I mean, it's such a hot topic, and don't come for me, listeners that are big timber dudes. Like, I respect you. It's fine. Like, I know we need wood. I helped work in like fuels reduction projects with fire. Like I've done that stuff, and I get it. But it's also really important to honor the wildlife that's inhabiting those areas. It's important to make sure you're not taking anything that's old growth. It's important to utilize the landscape to where it's mutually beneficial as opposed to just one-sided where you see like clear cuts, and it's just disgusting to me. It's so bad for the soil, it's bad for the water, it's bad for the wildlife. It's not good for us because we're part of the land. I think a lot of people forget that. So that's something that I struggled with sometimes, with seeing some of those timber sales, especially on those private lots that are like grandfathered in Oregon, because they just don't do as well with the natural resource mitigation as they should. But I don't want to blanket it, because there's some folks out there that are doing a decent job, but there's some that aren't. And so seeing the ones that weren't was rather difficult sometimes. And then with Bureau of Land Management, I mean, the people that work there, it's not their fault. Like, they're, you know, just doing their job. It's coming from up top. It's from leadership, whoever's working in the Department of Interior, which oversees BLM, and the Department of Agriculture that oversees Forest Service. It's those guys making those decisions. So I think that's important to note that, yes, there's things with those agencies I disagree with, but it's because of those folks that are leading it. Like in this administration specifically, there's some things they're doing that I don't like rescinding the Roadless Rule. I think that's a terrible idea. Most fires start by roads. I mean, 75% of fires start by a road. So why would you put more roads?
Is it like a chain on the road?
Yeah, what's the Roadless Rule for people that don't know?
Yeah, Roadless Rule, it was started in 2001 under the Clinton administration, and it makes it so that it saves these areas under Forest Service that aren't allowed to have roads through them. So it's mainly you can't log in here because you don't need roads for travel. These areas are very wild. They're very similar to wilderness. They're usually pretty rugged terrain. An example by Bend would be Paulina Lakes and Newberry Caldera. That's just lava rock. So it's just this big rocky, it really unforgiving terrain. So obviously you don't want to put roads through that. It doesn't make sense. You'd have to blast the hell out of it, and that's not worth it anyways. I think the target was that they're saying it's for logging, to not be able to log in there, because a lot of those areas have our drinking water. A lot of roadless areas do. In Bend, our drinking water is in a roadless area, the Tumalo Reservoir, or not the reservoir, the Tumalo. I'm not gonna say I don't remember what it's called. Anyways, our drinking water is in one of those, in a roadless area. Yeah, they're really important. They're just we have so much habitat fragmentation for wildlife, so those areas really help keep them safe. And so that's a big thing. But yeah, most fires start by roads, and some people will argue if you put roads in there, you're able to go fight fire easier. But we have smoke jumpers, we have air tankers, we have people that work on wilderness, what's it called? WFM, what is that? We have people that will hike in to fight fires, and
The wildland fire module?
Yep, wildland fire modules. Yeah, they'll go in and they're hand crews, and so we have the resources to do that. So I think focusing on funding and supporting firefighters is more important than taking out, making roads for the sake of fire. So that argument doesn't make sense. Because those roads are just logging roads, which are not safe. They're meant to be one-time use. Yeah. They're not meant to be sustainable.
When you say roads cause most fires, what specifically is causing them?
Yeah, so I think Chance mentioned it, chains from cars, exhaust pipes. There's a lot of it has to do with vehicles. But it also has to do with people camping and abandoned campfires. When I worked for the Forest Service, I put out well over 50 abandoned campfires in my time. That, at least. That's being generous. It's way more.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, and so it's just, that's just, there's lightning strikes, of course, that happen in roadless areas, but fire is not a bad thing. We're meant to have fire. We're supposed to utilize it as a tool as opposed to seeing it as this villainous, evil thing. Obviously, if it's near LA and it's threatening all these homes, put it out as soon as you can. But if it's in this wild area where fire is meant to be a friend, that's okay. I think people get too scared of it sometimes. I think it needs to be more respected.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I feel like I was all
over
the
place.
place.
That's good. I want to make sure we're at the point in the timeline now where it makes sense to transition back to your podcast. Does that make sense, or is there more of the story that we should cover before we get there?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. So let's talk about the podcast.
Okay.
So give me the origin. It sounds like it probably transitioned naturally from all these speaking engagements, or just the press tour and everything like that. But just give me the origin story.
Yeah, so at the State of the Union, I met another former federal worker, and she and I hit it off, and a few months later, I had thought about, it'd be so cool to have a podcast to help dispel the misinformation in a more storytelling way, which I think people listen to more than just facts and figures and you should care, kind of thing. So I was that'd be cool, and maybe we could interview some cool people and just talk about what it was like being a ranger and being in the woods outdoors, because there's a lot of amazing outdoors podcasts, but I was I don't feel like that's been done yet. I feel like it's kind of niche, what we'd be doing. So I asked her if she was interested, and she said yes. And then my partner came up with the name, and then I made the intro music because I play guitar and I sing, so I made that. And then she did the art originally, but I have a new artist now, and she and I did 30 episodes together, and then she had to leave in January. She just didn't have time to do it anymore. She wasn't around, so I took it over, and I love doing it. It's so fun. My crown jewel guest was Ken Burns.
I was going to ask about
Literally about to ask about him.
That's crazy.
I know.
How was he?
What's his email address?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you,
pass him on. I will stay longer.
I gotta tell you how I got him because it's kind of funny. So I think this was like right after starting the podcast, like in July. I was like, oh God, it'd be so cool to get Ken Burns. He did that documentary, national parks, America's Best Ideas.
Literally all
like,
of them.
I know.
Every documentary.
He's amazing, and he's so intelligent, and he's so well spoken. And I was like, God, he'd be so cool to have on. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll try to find him and email him or something. And so I went to his website, and I found a couple different emails. So I just emailed both of them. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, right, whatever. But we'll see. A girl can dream. Like, why not? And like I said, I think we'd had like 3 episodes out at that point, maybe. And then his agent gets back to us pretty quickly, well, to me, because I was the one emailing. And he's like, yeah, Ken would love to do this. I was like, what? Are you sure? Me? Like, what do you mean? And yeah, he's like, yeah, Ken loves talking about national parks, so right up his alley. Awesome. But it happened to be perfect timing, because I didn't know that he had just finished The American Revolution, which is his most recent documentary that came out in November.
And it goes with that book. I have the coffee table book.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, and so I didn't realize that they were actively looking for media inquiries at that time. And the pitch that I gave, he said that Ken really liked. So it was like honestly just like right time and good wording. And then when we met him, it was so funny because I'm still getting to know like the podcast world and like my gear and the recording service, and it was just like kind of messy, but it was so funny too because he comes on, because it's all remote, that I do the podcast remotely, and he pops up and I'm just like like staring at him, and he goes, are we gonna start? It's like, yes sir, I'm so sorry. Yeah. You're the professional, of course. Yes. And yeah, he was great. He was so nice. I told him I wished he was my grandpa, and thank God he laughed. And that
reminds me of when we got Kevin Nealon, because that was almost immediate. And that was, we were about a
qualified.
year. Yeah, we were a year into the podcast maybe at that point. Not quite as novice as you were at that point. But yeah, the response was immediate, and like we were both shocked by it. So.
Yeah, but I think it's so cool.
Shoot your shot is the moral of the story.
You should. That's a great moral of the story. You should shoot your shot, and like the worst that happens is they just don't message you back, which has happened a lot to me.
Yeah, I think you get so big. You get so big at one point. I would think with Kevin Nealon and with Ken Burns, I think that overlap flows
maybe
for
Kevin's
both.
are just outgoing.
Maybe. I mean, he's a Ken.
Ken, maybe K-E-S or.
Yeah, and then the Ken. But I think that they get to a point of being so big that something fucking stupid like recording with us in the back of a van for Kevin Nealon, like it's like endearing. It's like
I think that's how it was.
I haven't done something stupid like that in a while.
I think he was like, I think he's just like talked so much about like his other docs that he's had, that like going back in time to the national parks was like, and especially with like what was happening last year, I think it was again just perfect timing. I think he was like, hell yeah, like, let's talk about parks, and he loved it. He was like so into it, and I just like let him go off. I was like, oh my gosh.
You had him for about an hour, right?
Yeah.
That's not like a quick little chat. That's like
it was funny because they originally said a half hour, and I begged for 45 minutes, and then it went to an hour. So I was like, yes.
You should try lying.
Yeah.
We do that to every guest. We tell them it's going to be an hour to an hour and a half, and
we did
like we told you, the last episode was 5 hours.
Yeah.
We were just basically like.
The only disadvantage I have, though, is they can click goodbye.
Yes.
We chain you to the desk here.
Exactly. We know the pros and cons of recording remote very well here. Currently processing.
I'm really trying to get Nick Offerman. He's my
so are we.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we've been spamming the shit out of him.
Yeah. Me too. We've gotten through to his press people, but.
I just want to talk to him about that episode of The Last of Us, because that made me sob.
Oh my God, it was
so hard.
Good.
And I really want to watch his new gardening show. Have you seen it yet?
No.
He's got a gardening show where he just talks about vegetable gardening and how that's just like what brings him joy
so
these days.
Wholesome. I saw his stand-up. He came to Salem, Oregon, which was random. I was like, who paid you to go to Salem? Because he didn't go anywhere else there. Like not Portland or Bend or Eugene, like Salem, Oregon. I was like, okay. So I went there to go see him, and it was great. It was like he played music, and he's like raunchy humor. I love it. It was so good. And I harassed his merch girl. I was like, would he want to be on my podcast? She's like, maybe. I don't know. Give me your card. I was like, okay. So one day.
That's the way to get it done.
So what were some of the biggest takeaways from your interview with Ken Burns? Why do I sound weird?
I think one of the biggest takeaways with Ken Burns is the fact that our national parks are so important for more reasons than just they're beautiful. Like he talks about the history and how specifically history is just so insanely crucial to understand, because as he quoted Mark Twain, history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And so we're seeing, like, obviously not the exact same situation with the same exact people, but we're seeing like really similar type of narratives, like let's get rid of history because we don't like it, which is wrong, hugely wrong. I think that you can't truly love something if you don't know everything about it. That's like getting in a relationship with someone and you don't know any of their bad side. Like, hell no. You're gonna find that out later in a really terrible way and then be totally blindsided. It's good to just know everything, and like you don't have to like it, and you shouldn't like it, because a lot of our history in our national parks is pretty grotesque, especially against indigenous people. So I think that was something that he talked about that I really found reassuring in the way he was talking about it, just of like, we need history to be preserved, not get rid of it, because this was at the time where they had those QR codes up at national parks that leadership, like Doug Burgum, the Interior Secretary, put up for people to report like history that they thought was un-American or whatever, basically meaning like non-Caucasian, non-colonizer type of stuff. So that was good timing for us to talk about it, and so that was really cool. I think another thing, and I don't know, I half agree and I half kind of question it, but he talks about, like, we've been so much worse in the past, like times are not nearly as bad as they used to be, and I agree with a lot of specific situations that I can think of for sure. Like there's definitely things we don't have going on today that we used to, that were absolutely atrocious, but we still have things that are pretty bad. And so I think it's important to remember, like, we've come a long way historically, but there's still new battles to face that could be bad. So it's like you can have two truths at once, I think.
I was just thinking that when you said that both can be true.
Yeah.
What are some of the top remaining battles in your opinion?
Oh, man. In this country, I mean, I think that diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI, was a big hot topic last year, and we saw like a weird shift in people being really against it all of a sudden. Like there's always been grumbles from people that had issues with it, whatever, but it turned into like a full-blown war against it. And I think a lot of people don't even fully understand that DEI doesn't just serve people who are underrepresented. It serves all of us. Like,
do you think it was like a loud minority that was the shift, or do you think that it was just like people coming out of the woodworks that hadn't spoken against it that then didn't want it?
I think both. I think there's more people feeling more comfortable to express a lot more hateful rhetoric than there have been before under other administrations. I think that this administration is very, one could say this is positive, one could say this is negative, but they're very, very blunt, and they're very unfiltered and sensational and shocking, and they like say what's on their mind, and like some people love that because they're like, oh, it's real, but then others see it as like, this is dangerous and this doesn't set a good example for what leadership should be doing and saying. And so that's where I think the people coming out of the woodworks are feeling more comfortable to be more vocal. And then I do think there was definitely more of a minority, louder group that was very much against it. But again, I think it goes with the woodworks. I think they joined that. So yeah, I think it's unfortunate. There's like a couple things I can specifically name that went away that was really unfortunate, like Women of Wildfire. There's like a group for women and non-binary trans folks that can get together, that fire is a male-dominated area to work, and that was really nice to have your like support of like, you know, you just get to like vent and hang out with your ladies and, you know, just have a good time. And it's like so like reassuring and fulfilling, like, oh, and validating, like we all have these similar problems, and but we also have like some similar joys, and like that was really cool. And then we had the civil rights committee that helped people. Like I was the special emphasis program manager for individuals with disabilities, so I help people with disabilities apply for jobs in the Forest Service and get promotions, and like help them navigate the paperwork that's really tedious and weird, and like all the different like verbiage and terms, and all that stuff just went away. And that's just the Forest Service. That was just my little bubble. Like it goes so much bigger than that, and I think that's one that I'm hoping can get reversed and fine-tuned. I don't think it was perfect, obviously, like, but I think that it was better than not having that kind of support.
Here's a question that is intentionally probably going to be triggering. For someone like me, I work from home. I come from a, you know, certain amount of privilege compared to other people. Probably suffer less than the average person. I live a comfortable life. Again, work from home. Probably a lot of people like me in the country. And so if I didn't ever turn on technology and I was like a disconnected from everything kind of person, I wouldn't maybe see a lot of the impact of this in my day-to-day. Mm-hmm. I still don't. I mean, I go on the internet, but I still don't. I see it talked about, but it hasn't affected my day-to-day. How frustrating is it for you to like be living this reality to the extent that you have taken on this role as an advocate for it, and there are people in positions like mine that just like don't even notice that anything's changed?
I don't feel frustrated. I think the only time I would feel frustrated from it is if they, like let's just use you as an example. If you were to say, like you did learn about this stuff happening and somebody was like, are you willing to like speak up or at least like, you know, sign this petition or send a public comment, whatever. If somebody like close to you or somebody who you know was like, hey, this affects me, this is what happened, and you learn about it, and then they ask for your assistance, if you put your hands up and go like, yeah, no, that's too much, I don't want to be involved in that, that's frustrating. Because it's like, that's like you had that chance to listen and to kind of learn something and to, you know, dip your feet in a little bit. Like I think, but I also think the other side, like I don't think there's anything like such thing as a perfect advocate. I think that's crazy. Some people need to protect their peace and stay out of it. Some people need to be full head on in it. Some people kind of just need to come in and out, you know, just for their mental health or whatever. I don't think there's a wrong way to do that. I think it's all about your reaction, though, once you do learn some things of like, oh, I could actually help and make a difference, but am I going to do that? Nah. Then it's like, why not, you know? But I try to approach people like that with curiosity, not with judgment, because everybody has different life situations. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know, you know, it's like, yeah, like, you know, there's the privilege piece and whatnot, but like you've still probably suffered in your life and been through things that affect your day-to-day in some way or another, whether you realize it or not. Like, who am I to judge you and call you imperfect or say that you're doing something wrong? I think it's more, and I think there's people that would disagree with me on that, because there's some people that are like, no, you get them to fight, like you do something, like now's this time to speak up, and I respect that opinion too. I think like we all are dealing with things a little bit differently. And I think as long as we're willing to like work with each other and have patience and be curious, that's what matters. Some people are lost causes. I hate to say it, but you know, if somebody's like, no, I don't want to be involved at all, leave me the fuck alone, then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna bug you. Like, I'm not gonna come for you. Like, that's your, you know, that's your life. But I'm also privileged, so I'm not somebody who's in like a very underrepresented, oppressed group. So like, this is just from my opinion, but I'm sure there's other people that would have stronger opinions about it. But
well, I think that's a good headspace to be in with it. Like I think I would find the work that you do very frustrating, because I would find it very hard to be so passionate and in the thick of something and watch other people maybe just like it doesn't affect them because it hasn't gotten to the point where it affects people outside of that realm. That would be frustrating for me. So I think for the work,
sometimes it can be a little bit, of course, but I think I recover quickly from that, because I think, again, like if I see somebody getting like very upset and being like angry towards someone that isn't on the same page, or like, you know, the situation we're talking about, I feel like I would be less likely to want to join them later on. But if I plant a seed, I'm like, you know, that's okay. Like, do your thing. Like, if you have any questions or you want to know more, or figure out how to get involved, like, I'm always here. Like, you can come ask. And I feel like that invites people in to feel more, like, to feel less, like, anxious about it, and less like, oh, are they going to yell at me if I'm not perfect? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that's the wrong approach.
Yeah.
It's not my approach.
I do think that's the issue with a lot of the discourse nowadays. It's always like someone
You're not
knows.
doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I dare you to tell me you disagree.
It's the least persuasive way to do anything.
I agree. I don't respond to that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I see it as like, I think you have some things you need to work on.
Yeah.
Part of what you said, though, is also so true. And my day job is sales. So we do this in sales, which is something that's hard for when you're prospecting, when you're trying to find new business to go after. One of the things that's hard is, you know, accepting that something might not be a good fit, even if like interest is shown or something like that, and unqualifying the lead and not giving them more time to move forward because it's not a good fit. And what you said about some people being lost causes, I think that's an important mindset too, where it's like, I don't need to change every opinion.
Don't waste your energy.
And I don't need to force it, but if I can find someone who's willing to listen or who can be affected by it, like, that's where the wins are.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're not going to see the wins. You're not going to see the change. Like, there's been so many times where I've talked to people about leave no trace in the forest. You know, people throwing banana peels out their door. I'm like, wait, those don't grow here, you know. And then sometimes they'll just be like, whatever. But then I think, like, you know, I don't know, maybe down the line they'll be a little more hesitant to do that next time. But I'll never see it, so, like, I don't know. So that's why it's so important to make sure that your approach is in a way that, like, makes people more curious about caring as opposed to just, like, turning off from it.
Yeah.
Where do you get your validation from if the wins are invisible?
Wow. That's so deep.
I mean, I imagine the comments probably aren't always the kindest, so there's got to be something that keeps you from collapsing and not doing it anymore.
They weren't the kindest last year. I feel like people are a bit less, like, bitey now and a bit more just like whatever, liberal, hippie, whatever. Like, it's more like that, like how it used to be. Last year was kind of an outlier in, like, a lot of the hate I would get from folks, because a lot of it was just like projection. It wasn't even like about me. It was just like the topic at hand, like, you know, waste of my money, blah blah blah, piece of shit, and calling me names and stuff like that. I get my validation though just knowing that, like, some people care and, like, see what I'm doing and appreciate it. Like, that's all that I can really focus on, is like, okay, I know some people are glad I'm doing this, and so I'm gonna keep going. Like, there's clearly a good vibe coming off of what I'm doing, so I know I have good intent. I know that I want people to be happy and that I want the world to be a better place, and I know some people see that, and, like, that's great. That's what works for me. Like, I'll have people tell me, like, I'm so glad, like, someone's doing this. Like, I'll hear that all the, like, thank God someone's doing this. And I'm like, yeah, like, that's all I need. Like, I'll keep doing it. So I think also just, like, cause like, again, like, there's people in the Forest Service I did not like. But, and, like, they're like, whatever, like, you just want attention, blah, blah. I'm like, you can think that, that's fine. No one said that to my face, but gotten the vibes from, like, one or two people specifically. And I was like, no, you can think that, that's fine, you know, but, like, I am still doing this for you, whether you like it or not.
You said you've listened to this podcast before?
Yeah.
So you're familiar with the Triple Crown segment? Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know, what's the Triple Crown of your episodes or interviews, people that you've had on?
That's such a good question. Let me think.
And we have to take Ken Burns off. I assume that he'd be on.
Yeah.
Maybe we do the Mount Rushmore top 4. He's already one of them, but yeah.
Okay. Chuck Sams. He was the first Indigenous National Park Service director, and his last day was in January last year. And he's incredible. Just such a kind person. He's he believes in the rights of nature and loves nature, and he tells amazing stories from his culture, and yeah, he's incredible, and he's really funny. He's definitely a trickster. So I really like that about him. I would say the next person, honestly, like, my little sister. I've had her on twice. She's so unhinged and insane, and I love her.
What's the age difference?
She's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And she, I think it was just like I was kind of in a rut, and my sister came on. It was just me and her, and we were just dying laughing the whole time. Like, she's one of the funniest people I've ever met. So that's definitely a big one. And then I'd say this is hard to choose because I love everybody I've had on. So I wish I could choose everybody. But honestly, I'd say Lance Garland. He's a queer author, and he wrote a book about being in the Navy and what that was like for him. And he's the first openly gay male firefighter in Seattle. And his book is incredible. It's called Out There. And it made me cry, made me laugh, and he's just like such a kind person, and I love the way he like responded to my questions and like me. Like, I just felt really seen and heard, even though I'm the one asking the questions. I don't know if that makes sense, but he does this thing where he goes, yeah, and I love it. And I've started doing it. Like, yeah, oh my God, yeah. And it's just great. So he was amazing, and I think about him all the time. Not in a weird way, but he was such a nice person. So if I had to choose, that would be the 4. But I mean, honestly, there's been so many good ones. I feel very, very lucky.
Yeah. I think this is from your website, but that your mission statement is to find joy in a world of bad news.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are there any specific moments, episodes, takeaways where you feel like you're able to extract goodness from the darkness?
Oh yeah, I think all the episodes, and that's my goal. I think it started out as a podcast about rangers. I interviewed a bunch of park rangers and Forest Service rangers, and it started more on, again, like talking about, like, I did an episode on the Roadless Rule and public lands rule, and like the new USDA Forest Service organization, whatever. So I did like a bunch of stuff like that. And then I think, especially once my previous co-host left, and it was more like, okay, I can kind of like take this in whatever direction I want. And I started realizing, like, I think I just need more joy. I think I got through that phase. Like, if you listen through all the episodes, you can kind of tell like my phases going through everything. And I was definitely a lot more like fired up and like, determined and pissed off and like just as heavy in the beginning, and then I kind of started getting a bit more like laid back, and then now I'm in a point where I just want to have a really good time. And I think you can have, going back to 2 truths at once, I think you can talk about hard things and like tackle these issues that are not always the funnest things to talk about, and you can always find joy at the end of the day without being toxic positive. You don't have to be like, that sucks, anyways, I guess we're fine. Like, you don't have to do that. You can go, yeah, like, this situation was really hard, and this is really unfortunate, and like, we need to fight this. And then go, so, what's your favorite national park? Like, let's talk about the cool place. Like, you can have those 2 conversations in one. I think I want to show an example to people of like, you can be informed and happy. Like, you don't have to be in a dark spiral of gloom. Like, don't just doom scroll on your phone all day. Like, go talk to somebody, hang out with a friend, call your parent, call your sibling, whatever. Go out to your local bar, I guess, I don't know, and talk to somebody. Like, I think that you can do that, and I think if you set that example for others, it's contagious. So joy, like I said, is a form of resistance, and I think it's so imperative right now that we find the joy, because that's what's going to get us through times that feel a lot harder than they've been, at least in my young life. So yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay.
Yeah. You're 40.
I am 40.
Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for just saying that. Call out the elephant in the room.
Is that supposed to be an insult? I'm not.
No, I don't know.
Just pointing
You're the oldest one here. Anytime I can point out you're old.
Oh, yeah.
I did my homework.
All right, well, we're getting somewhat close to the end of your time here, but I do have a note that you've got a pants shitting story, which is a requisite here for this podcast.
Yeah. I was wondering if this was going to come up.
It always does.
Yeah. Gosh, I have multiple, unfortunately. Do you want, I'll give you a choice. Do you want under a bridge or in a family picnic area?
Why pick? Both.
Yeah, you already set yourself up.
Yep. So thank you
for
for that.
Okay, both were on this. No, actually, I take that back. One, yep, this is 2 different trips. Okay, so I've never through hiked, sadly. I'm sorry.
We weren't going to tell anyone. We were just going to not bring it up the whole time.
We're not going to bring it up, I know. Well, I did. Sorry, elephant. But when I was 19, I hitchhiked across the country, and that was kind of my through journey in a way. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I just knew I wanted to be doing something big and crazy. Like, I love Jack Kerouac and Hunter S. Thompson and Allen Ginsberg. I read a lot of these, like, beatnik era, memoirs, and I was just like, God, that's so cool. And I never really saw women in them, and so I was like, I want to do something and break the mold, whatever. I'm not ready for school. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And so I took off. I was living in Santa Cruz at the time, and met these, like, random train hopper kids, and I was like, you can do that? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, can I come? And they're like, sure.
You hopped a train?
I tried to hop a train.
Did you miss the train, or did what?
We waited forever. We were in this yard in, like, Tucson, and we were waiting for days and days and days, and we had what's called a crew change, which is like the train hopper Bible. It's like they make a different version every year. At least this was back then. This was 2011, so I don't know what they do anymore, but or 2012. And the crew change tells you, like, each I don't know if I'm gonna get, like,
no one watches this.
Like, the train hoppers come for me, like, don't talk about the crew change. But anyways, we had this schedule, so we knew, like, the train was supposed to come, whatever. And so we're waiting forever. Finally it stops, but it's the only cars that we could have gotten on are called, like, suicide cars, and that's for a reason, because they're like this big square with, like, a hole in the middle, and you're supposed to, like, kind of wedge yourself in and hope you don't, like, fall out. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, come on, it's the only one available. I was like, I'm not doing that.
They all got on it?
They tried to get me to go, and I was like, no.
But they went.
They got off because I was freaking out.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so this was the trip, and I hitchhiked all the way from Santa Cruz to New Orleans, and I did it for a few months, met some of the craziest characters I've ever met in my life on that trip. Like I said, I was only 19, but I made a really horrible mistake. I drank tap water in SoCal, like, in LA, from, like, a McDonald's bathroom. This is diabolical.
There's a fountain. There's a soda fountain. Why would you do that?
I was dumb.
There's a water button on the soda fountain.
I know.
Oh my
I wish
God.
you were there.
I wish I was too, to guide you.
It was terrible. And so I definitely got Giardia, like, bad. And I was in San Diego, in OB, Ocean Beach, and hanging out with this, like, school bus full of, like, hippie kids that were like, yeah, we'll take you to Quartzsite with us and, like, just hang out for a few days. And then that's when the Giardia came on, and I was like, oh no. And we were out near Balboa Park, I think, and there was this, like, those, like, picnic overhangs.
A pavilion?
Yeah, and it just hit, and there's, like, no public restrooms, like, anywhere near where we were, and there was no trees, there was nowhere to hide. And so I just, like, I was like, I'm so sorry to whoever has to come clean this, or what family finds this, and I just, like, blew ass.
You, like, shit on the pavilion?
Shit all over the pavilion.
You didn't clean it?
I didn't have anything.
You advocate for LNT on your podcast, and you shit on a pavilion and didn't clean it.
I know.
This is great.
You know what? We got to admit our faults.
How was it walking away from your pile of shit on this pavilion?
It was literally, like, the worst feeling ever. It was terrible. I felt disgusting, and I had somebody with me who, like, had to hear the whole thing. And I was so mortified. Like I said, I felt terrible for that, and then I just physically felt terrible, and then mentally felt terrible. Like, it was awful.
How often do you think about it?
More than I wish. I've been thinking about it more lately, knowing I was coming on here. I was like, God damn, I'm going to have to tell this story, aren't I?
I still can't believe you got Giardia from tap water. Like, I know you're saying...
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't shit in the sand.
Well, yeah, we were on the beach at that point. We were in Balboa, like, in the park.
Inland,
yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned that.
There's no, like, soft dirt?
This one section we happened to be, all I remember is there was like an old train track trestle thing, and then there was, like, the pavilions, and then just grass forever. There was no trees, like, not for a while, and I wasn't gonna make it. I was like, I'm either going right here in the open, or I'm just gonna, like, hide in this pavilion.
I wish I could be in your brain looking at the options and being like, wide field of grass.
I had, like, 5
train
seconds.
Tracks, concrete pavilion, that one.
I was like, whatever's going to have me more hidden, I don't know. Because I was so mortified. And like I said, I was 19. And that's what, I feel like back then, I'm not excusing it. Back then at that age, though, it's like you're so much more hyper aware of like being embarrassing and, I don't know. It was terrible. The other one was under a bridge I think I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it was like this weird, it's a long story. But anyways, I was with these other like train hopping people, whatever, and we just were going through Tennessee. I was living in New Orleans at the time, and I went on this like trip up there. And I just had to take a shit, and I just like went. It was like early in the morning, like the sun was barely up. The only people that I saw there was my friends, and they were like dead asleep. So I was like, I'm just gonna go up on this like hill area, whatever. There's all this ivy. I felt pretty like hidden. I mean, it was open, but I was like, there's no one here. As I'm like mid shit, this guy is on this like, he like just pops over on this like ivy hill, and he's just staring at me, and I was just like, oh my god, and he goes, ah, and just runs away. Like
he's got a story to tell.
Audibly screamed, and then I screamed, and then I instinctively like pulled my pants up. So that's my like shit my pants. Like I felt so disgusting, and I was so mad because I didn't have.
So you pulled your pants up mid shit and then shit.
It was
in
just
your
like
pants?
it was like just like reaction.
Yeah,
which was a huge regret. I was like, he already saw it. I might as well just committed. But I just it was terrible.
When I did the Ozark Highlands Trail on my birthday, there was no one on the trail apart from us. And then my birthday, there was this one guy we kept hopscotching, and he walked past me as I was pants down shitting, and as my husband says, I have the reflexes of a dead cat. So I did nothing. I stayed in my squat, and I just said, howdy. Because it was like our fifth hello of the day. It's like, yep, you got me in this moment, and I don't have the reflexes to change anything right now.
I had a similar one on a trail.
Humbling.
Yeah, I had a similar one where I was just like, the guy, like, I was like, oh, I didn't think anybody was here, and I just had to keep going.
I will say, when it comes to poop stories on this podcast, I've always had this dream that yet has to come to fruition, but there's still time, and this is a perfect opportunity. I have dreamed, from the shitting on the side of the highway stories to like all the different ones, that we would get a follow-up email, podcast@thetrek.co, from the follow-up crew. That's like, oh my god, that was my barn that she shat on, or that like that was my bathroom at this place. I want to hear from the person that cleaned this pavilion. I want to know what you thought when you came up to it.
And I want to personally apologize to them.
Yeah.
If
I'm
they
sure they just
We have yet to have that happen where someone will write in and be like, oh my god. I mean, we have people that listen to us on boats in the middle of nowhere, so like the chances aren't zero. I'm not dreaming too big here, but I just hope that it's like a missed connection where I'm like.
Also, Balboa Park is like pristinely well taken care of.
Yeah.
So it was not like, could be anyone like that.
What I would give for that email.
It probably got hosed down like 5 minutes later. You were still running away.
God, I felt so bad. Oh, it was terrible.
That's so funny.
But you know what? I think it humbles us. We got to share it.
Yeah.
You don't always get to pick when the shits are coming out, unfortunately.
Yep.
No.
It's not about being perfect. It's about getting better.
That's right.
I have a note about a piece of gear that you're obsessed with, which is something that I don't think we've ever talked about on this podcast ever.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to talk about
Yeah,
this.
please.
I got really excited when I saw that question. Collapsible bucket. Hear me out. Don't look at me like that.
Is it to poop in?
No. It's.
Though if you had it at Balboa Park, that would have been.
I mean, honestly, I should have had that. See, this is why I love the bucket so much. That would have come in so handy. I love it because they weigh basically nothing. They're just like these like collapsible little. I mean, I don't know. Probably like ultralight people are like, it weighs.
The way you're holding your hands makes it looks like a cup.
It's like when you fold it up, it's like, I don't know, like the size of your palm, maybe smaller, and then you unfold it, and it's just like this. They have like different sizes. Foldable bucket.
Collapsible bucket. Showing it unfolded. I was like, I think that's tiny just a pot.
I like to make sandcastles when I
think
can.
you have a dog bowl.
No,
this makes way more sense now.
Yeah. No, I love it because it helps if you're base camping, especially because you can go down to the lake and like scoop it up and then filter the water up at camp if you want. I also love it for if I'm in a burn area, which I've actually this has happened multiple times to me backpacking where I found morels. I'm so glad I had a bucket. And then other times like rock hounding, if I'm out in an area you're allowed to do that. That was really cool to be able to collect those. Comes in handy for like bear hangs too if you just need one really quickly. Yeah, I love my collapsible bucket and I stand by that.
Is there a go-to brand?
I don't remember. I think I just got it at like
Home
Bi-Mart.
Where?
Have you heard of Bi-Mart?
No. Is that like Alibaba?
It's only for bi people. It's in Oregon. It's just a little like.
Wait, you mean B-I?
B-I, Bi-Mart.
Not B-U-I.
No.
That's funny.
I know.
That's really funny.
I love it.
Do they sell specific things?
They have like just a tiny little camping aisle, you know, with like Coleman stuff. But then they have the buckets there too. And I don't remember the brand, but I've also seen it at REI. So they're around.
Okay.
But I think it's more like a random cheap brand, nothing fancy. But I love it. Yeah. Get a collapsible bucket. You won't regret it.
And maybe we'll end with this one unless Chauncey's got an additional question. But I have a note about potentially a scary encounter with a grizzly.
Oh, yeah. I've had a few grizzlies and a mountain lion. The mountain lion one was the most recent. That one was super scary. It was September 2025, and I was in Mesa Verde National Park, and I was camping with my previous co-host, and she and I were at this campsite that was about like a 3-minute walk to the bathroom, and it was dark. It was like 10:30 at night or something, and there was this setup matters. So there's this campsite next to us, and there's a family, and there's like 6 kids, and they're all like little kids, and they had been like running back and forth from the bathroom like in pairs, sometimes by themselves, whatever. And so then I go, after they had come back, I went towards the bathroom, and I had my like jugs to fill up my water because we were car camping, so it was like pretty nice. And I go to the spigot, and then I had my headlamp, and I see some like glowing eyes across the like little tiny road. So it was probably like 20 feet from me. And I saw a raccoon back to raccoons, full circle here. I saw a raccoon down by our site, so I was like, oh, it's probably a raccoon. And I walked closer, like stupid close.
I would have been like, good omen.
I start walking closer. All of a sudden, I should have known because it was glowing yellow, and that's a sign. And then as I get closer, all of a sudden, like its tan face, full view, and it's like completely, it's crouched in like a predatory crouch.
How far?
I was probably 10 feet.
Ah!
Yeah, it was terrible. And it was
like
in
from you to that wall?
Yeah, and it was in this bush. Yeah, like pretty much where me and Zach are.
Wow.
And it was in this bush, and as soon as it came into play, I went, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. I just started like hyperventilating and like backed away really slowly because I was like, I'm not running. At least I had that instinct, but I was just like, and then I backed up and went into the bathroom and just like, was like, fuck, what do I do? And there's no phone service. I was trying to call my friend. I was like, oh, they're not answering. And so I just waited for like 20 minutes maybe, and I was like, surely somebody's gonna come in here. Like somebody's gonna come in here. I know. And so eventually I was like, be brave, be brave. And so I opened the door, and it's gone, which honestly was worse. I was like, I shouldn't.
But like, how do you know?
I know.
How do you know it was gone?
Exactly. So I looked everywhere in that area, and I was like, I don't see it. Fuck, where is it? And as I was walking back, there was like 2 kids were starting to come towards me, and I was like, go back to your site. And then and then I told I wasn't going to tell my friend because I didn't want to freak her out because she was sleeping in a tent and I was in my car. But I was like, I feel like I got to tell her. Like, and as soon as
you're
I
just
told
hiding
her,
in your car.
Friends tell friends.
I know. I debated because I was like, I don't want to scare her, but I also like,
She's just red meat out there.
Yeah, so I told her, and then she like freaked out and went and slept in her car. She's like, fuck no, I'm not staying out here. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm glad I told you. And then the next day she had said, those kids were like going back and forth the whole time before you went. And so my thought is that as somebody who's experienced in understanding wildlife behavior, is that this was a young male lion because he wasn't super huge, and I'm assuming it was a younger male because they tend to be more brazen. I think it was stalking the kids.
Definitely.
Because they were running as well, and they were like splitting off from each other. So I told the parents the next day in the morning, I was like, don't let your kids go alone. I saw a mountain lion, and they were like, oh my God. So, and I told the park, and they were like, we've never had a mountain lion sighting. We've always just had black bear. And I was like, 1,000% was a mountain lion.
This isn't the video that I saw last night, but last night I was watching this video on repeat that came on my newsfeed because it was a car with one of those Topo tents over it with the ladder, and a mountain lion went up to it sniffing, and it like stood up on the ladder, and its head was at the tent, and I just kept replaying because I was like, it looks so much bigger standing up, and so I just looked it up, and this isn't the same video. I'll play it for you and then for you, but watch it when it stands.
Yeah.
Look how tall he is next to the car.
Yeah, just easily on top of the Jeep.
Here, for you. He's.
Oh yeah, they're
I don't know if he's
huge.
gonna stand up again. Hold on. How do I get this back? Watch him stand up. Did you just get down?
Yeah. Go back a little bit more. Oh, there you go.
Look how tall he is. That's a Jeep. My head goes to there. My head goes to there, and that's where the bottom of his elbow is.
Yeah, they're huge. Yeah, it was. Honestly, I'm more scared of mountain lions than I am bears. So I've had a lot of bear encounters, and I'm sure a lot of mountain lions have seen me, but that was my first time coming face to face with one, and I was like, I prefer bears. Oh my God.
So what happened with the bear?
I've had a couple. When I worked in Yellowstone National Park in 2015, I worked for a concessionaire company, but I stayed in the park the whole summer, right next to a National Park Service station. So we worked with them a lot, and that's where I got into backpacking and hiking. I'd never been into it before. Like, I always loved being outside, but I was never like, I'm outdoorsy until I worked there, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in love with this area. It's amazing. And one of my first big hikes was in Beartooth Absaroka Wilderness, just outside the park in Montana. It's like past Cook City, like in Beartooth Highway. It's amazing. It's so beautiful, but it's prime grizzly country. And we found like carcasses on our way up, like old carcasses. They weren't like fresh, but we were like, yeah, they're around for sure. Saw their prints. We saw them like on the side of the road too, so like we knew they were around. I had bear spray. We had bear spray, and yeah, I mean we get up the trail, and it was coming towards us, and like we got over this like little hill part, and then this big huge grizzly was walking towards us, and it was like backing away slowly, yelling. It like took the safety off my bear spray, and it kind of like sniffed at us and then lost interest and went down the hill. And so we were like, let's turn around. Like, I didn't like that. Again, thinking back now that I have experience, I'm like, I think it was probably a male that's just kind of in his territory, and he was just kind of curious about us. But as we're going back, he circled back around and was curious again, and I was like, this is bad. This is so bad. And yeah, my adrenaline had never been so high, and you could like almost smell it. Like, it was like really that close. Like, it was so fucking scary and massive. But I think that one's kind of more your classic grizzly story. I have one really quickly that's just like, the intuition was so wild. So 2015 was the year that the last time we had a grizzly casualty in Yellowstone happened near Lake Lodge, and I worked at Roosevelt Lodge, which was not too far from the lake. And there's this trail, I think I took notes. I think it's Storm Point. Yeah, Storm Point Trail. And my friend and I were going, and it's a windy day. It's kind of like gray and icky, and we were just kind of having like, we were just kind of like having.
It gives feedback.
Oh, okay. We were just having kind of like weird vibes, but we weren't really saying anything. And so we were just gonna do this like quick little hike, and we're really close to Lake Lodge. And again, this was like 3 weeks after the mauling, and the guy died. And all of a sudden we get to this one spot in the trail, and it's so crazy. We looked at each other at the exact same time, and we went, we need to leave. And she's like, thank fucking God, let's get out of here. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. Like, and we were both like kind of embarrassed. We're like, I feel like we're such babies. Like, why are, like, this is so weird. Like, we got that at the same exact time. That's so strange. We go back into my car, and then literally like 2 minutes later, this massive grizzly exits the exact same trail we were just on. And
can you get a photo?
Yeah, I do have a photo.
Show me.
It's kind of like shitty, but it's.
I feel like the only time it's okay is because you're in your car.
Yeah, it was from a point and shoot. Let me find it. And yeah, we were like freaking out. We're like, oh my God, we're so smart. We knew that was bad. Oh my God. But yeah, and it's my friend Kayla, and she was on my podcast and we talked about it. And because we were both just like, that was wild. I can't believe we had that intuition, like that gut feeling of like, something's not right. And I mean, we don't know if it was the same bear. I think they actually killed her and her cubs. So it wasn't the same bear. But,
you ever have a
very
moment,
close by.
You ever have a moment after a moment of intuition like that where you like check yourself and you're like, am I a witch? Did you wonder that?
Yeah, we were both like, are we like actually very powerful?
Is my letter from Hogwarts coming?
Okay, I'm almost there. Where is it? And then we both got grizzly tattoos.
I'm surprised you didn't put that in the Trek propaganda. I thought you would put the grizzly glacier story.
Oh, here
I
it
was
is.
worried that by the time it came out, everyone had already heard it. But
Yeah.
It's a shitty picture because it was from a point and shoot in 2015, but
Oh wow!
it was
looks
big.
black. Was it black?
No, it had a hump. I think, it's
But in
just,
color, not like the.
I think it
species.
looks darker than it was.
Got it. Oh my gosh! And that's right coming out of the trail.
Mm-hmm. It was coming off the Storm Point Trail.
that's a big boy.
It was a big boy, big enough. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, nope. And it was like I said in that same exact area.
That's
that,
so creepy.
It's like a full lane
Like-
of the road there.
Yeah, not questioning the fur color to diminish the
Oh
scariness
no,
at
you're good.
all.
Yeah, no, it's just a shitty picture.
I just need to know if
but-
I need to be afraid of the black ones too.
I mean, you should have a healthy fear.
I'm afraid of all the brown colored ones, but black bears can be brown in color.
They
and
can be, like
possibly
cinnamon.
vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, you should be like I said,
afraid
respectfully
of everything.
healthy fear of any predator. But there's ways to be safe, have bear spray, keep your distance, go in numbers.
Well, we are actually at the end of your time here, a minute over. But we do have to end with this, the sponsor question, the peak performance question presented by Topo Athletic. Use code TREK15 TOPO at topoathletic.com to get 15% off. Do you have a top performance enhancing or backpacking hack? We'll just call it like outdoor hack, like long day out in the field. Is there something that you go to keep you motivated, running strong, etc.?
Like a food or drink, sorry.
Could be anything. Could be a mantra. Could be a practice that you do. Tapping into your witch spidey senses to sense when bears are around.
Oh man, like after a trip outside, like what's my routine? Is that kind of sorry?
We can
understand.
take the question any direction that you want to go, I guess.
Like what's a hack that you do to make you perform at your peak?
Oh, okay, I see. I need electrolytes. I have these little they're in my pack. I have these little like electrolyte tablets that you eat, and they're just like pure salt, but I have like this pina colada flavored one. It's like crack. Like it helps me so much. I actually have a sodium deficiency, so I have the opposite of a lot of people. I have to have a lot of salt, and especially when I'm hiking, so I just like OD on electrolytes.
We'll
Boy,
help
do
you out
we
with
have
that
boy, do
here.
we have some gifts
Yeah.
for you in the
Yeah.
forms of cans and powders.
Yeah.
Oh please, I would love it.
Well, Liz, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Where should people go to keep up with you, your podcast, etc.?
Yeah, so you can find my podcast anywhere you get podcasts, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and it's Rangers of the Lost Park. And you can find me on Instagram at Rangers of the Lost Park. You can find me on Patreon, and I'll have some more cool stuff for that in the near future. It'll be fun. And I also have a YouTube channel that I'm going to try to put more on, but I'm a one-woman show right now, so
It's a lot.
it's going to
I
be a
know.
little bit till I get there, but I will get there.
Yeah.
So
Well, Liz, thank you so much for joining us here on Backpacker Radio.
thank you guys so much. This was so fun.
Hey.
To the bonus segment, Chance's turn.
Yay! Hi guys. This is our bonus segment, and this week is ways to die. So maybe we'll put a death trigger warning here. But this
Have
is
we
like
done a Triple Crown of Ways to Die?
I don't think so.
That's one that we should do.
We should do that.
I had that thought recently. I'm like, I feel like we've done that, but we've not.
Yeah, this will definitely give some ideas for it. But this is more of a statistics on how you might die rather than a ways you could choose to die
Okay.
type of thing. So
Yeah.
not morbid. Well, morbid, but not in a sad well, it's still sad. Anyway, ways to die. So I went into recent statistics on ways that people die, and this is a ranking of what is the highest amount of estimated annual U.S. deaths to lowest in terms of ones that are exciting to say. And then we will jump into the hiking one a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's like heart disease and cancer, right?
Well, you're right. Heart disease is number one.
Yeah.
That one's 695,000 annual U.S. deaths per year. And the leading cause. Number two is actually car crashes. That one's got 43,000.
Yeah.
But that's way less than 695,000. That's like a big jump down. Yeah. And then comes falls in general, like falling off things. Barely less. It's 42,000, so 1,000 less.
And I would imagine falls includes just like old people falling. And
yeah, stairs, ladders, beds.
Yeah.
You know.
I think a lot of people die to the byproduct of broken bones when they're old.
Yeah.
Like the breaking the hip thing is a real deal.
That's why Life Alert is a business.
Yeah.
And then we get another jump down. So now we're going from 42,000 down to 4,000.
Okay.
And that's drowning in all types. So
it feels like a lot.
Rivers, lakes, pools,
Damn.
all drowning. 4,000 annual U.S. deaths.
Seems like too many people drowning.
Yeah, there's definitely things that maybe could be improved there. Then we drop down to 1,000 again, so another jump. And this, ironically, is the same 1,000 for both of these two things, which are opposites, which is cold exposure and extreme heat.
Just the conditions in general.
Yeah, both of those each have 1,000 per year.
This is a makeshift Trek propaganda, but Andy Skurka has got a video about that specific subject on the Trek's YouTube, so check it out.
All right. Under that comes hiking and trail recreation, and that's 700.
We're not still like on the top list, right? This is just like giving context.
This is number 7.
There's no way that hiking on trails is the 7th leading cause of death in the U.S.
I mean, it's going to go further than that, but...
Yeah.
This is 7 on this list. Sorry, not of all things, just on this list of where it ranks amongst other things.
Okay.
This is a list of where it ranks amongst other notable things.
Sure. Just as a hiking podcast, I didn't want to give
I don't mean it that way. I'm sorry.
Statistic that is the top 10 leading cause of death.
I'm just, I think there's other things in between. It's not like all encompassing. Anyway, then 200 deaths per year, deer, vehicle collisions.
Yeah.
150 hurricane, and then tornadoes are at 80. That's the U.S. 10-year average.
So more people die hiking than in a hurricane in an average year.
Yeah, but then I asked it to break that down, so we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So then we get dogs. Dogs are 47 deaths per year. Mountain climbing is 25. Champagne corks are 24.
I was hiking more than rock climbing.
Well, let's break it down. So hiking includes... Well, actually, let's do some fun ones first. Vending machines kill at least 13 people a year, which is more than sharks. Because people shake them when they steal snacks, and then they fall on them.
And the vending machine strikes back?
Yes. Champagne corks kill around 24 people annually,
No
usually
shit.
at weddings and New Year's Eves.
Interesting. I always do make a fun joke to shoot the cork, but I aim away from people. But
yeah,
it is fun
lethal.
to shoot.
It is. Falling out of bed, 450 deaths per year, more than all hiking-related falls in national parks.
I'm surprised that doesn't just get lumped in with the original falling stat.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like a scientist.
No, Chance is just reporting numbers.
Facts. And then here's some more fun ones. The most lethal venomous animal in the U.S. is bees, wasps, and hornets. They have around 60 deaths per year from anaphylaxis. In 2025, there were 9 unprovoked shark fatalities worldwide. Here's a fun one. Lightning deaths have dropped from 50 a year to 21 a year since 2001, and that's largely due to better public education.
So, I thought the reasoning was going to be that people are stuck inside looking at their phones.
Nope, apparently it's better public education.
Yeah. Giving themselves heart disease instead of dying by...
Right.
Yeah.
The overall death rate for hikers is about 4 per 100,000, which puts the odds at 0.004%.
Yeah. So you said you broke down the hiking deaths.
Yes.
What are those numbers?
Okay, so we said 700 hiking and trail recreation total. And that breaks down to 168 being cardiac arrest / heart attack. That's 24%. The number one killer on trail. Half had no prior diagnosis. Heat and exertion trigger hidden conditions.
Huh.
Then 147 people were What?
This is not me challenging you. This is me challenging the stat potentially. Is like if somebody had a heart attack while sitting in a movie theater, would they call that a movie theater induced? Like, I understand you're saying that they don't have any prior incidents, but I imagine most people that have heart attacks haven't had previous heart attacks.
Well, this is saying that heat and exertion can trigger those conditions,
Sure.
whereas like sitting in a movie theater isn't gonna trigger your heat and exertion.
Yeah, could get you stressed out depending on the movie, but
Yeah, well then I would say if you went to a horror movie and it gave you a heart attack, I would say you got a heart attack. You got a heart attack because of the movie.
Yeah, just seems like if you're at that point, then it's probably just gonna happen. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I
I digress.
I'm not a doctor.
Neither. I didn't come with rebuttals either. 21% is falls and slips. That's 147.
Okay.
Ledges, wet rocks, off-trail scrambling. 83% of that 21% are male. So maybe that's because like there's more ratio of men outdoors, or maybe that's because men are more likely to be like, "Don't worry, babe, I got this," and go scramble off trail and regret.
Definitely some combination. Guys are more stupid, but I wonder what the stat is of just guys on trails in general.
Yosemite leads for all the NPS parks.
Mm-hmm.
Then 112, that is around 16%, and that is caused by drowning, so river crossings and flash floods.
This is one that pops up, like, I feel every year, maybe every other year or so, but the people that get I forget the terminology, but the shock when they jump into cold water and their muscles stop working.
Yeah.
That's put like a permanent, I'm now afraid of everything, but like jumping into cold lakes has put a permanent fear into me. And when I see people do it, I get panicked about it.
Yeah, I don't want to go to a cold lake because it's cold. I don't,
Sure.
That just adds even more. It's like, if I needed another reason.
Yeah, no, I like the Wim Hofness of that part of it.
You do.
But like your muscles shutting down and then just like slowly drowning because
not
no
being
one
able
knows
to move.
That sounds
paralyzed.
like a terrible way to go.
Really bad. So for the drownings, the number one place was Lake Mead.
Where's that?
Is
that
Utah?
Arizona?
Put money on Utah.
You're both wrong.
Is it Nevada?
Nevada, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not a geographer either. And then also flash floods in slot canyons.
In Nevada and Arizona.
Fuck. I was just purely wrong. Okay, fine. Next. 98, and that is 14%, and that goes to heat stroke and heat exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Canyon averages 15 heat deaths a year. The canyon floor hits 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Most hike down in the cold and then die climbing back up. Like, it's cooler when they go down.
Based on these stats, I do wonder if sauna training is actually more credible than even I was giving it credit for. I've always like intuited that it could help with that sort of thing.
Sounds like heat's a problem.
Heat definitely feels like a real problem. That's probably also just most 3-season backpacking. You're exposed to more heat than extreme cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're talking people are dying of heat stroke, heart attack related to heat, it seems like there's a lot of issues.
Yeah. So 98 people were heat stroke / heat exhaustion, and 56 people were hypothermia.
Okay.
And so that's 8%, and that's mainly like above tree line. The temp swings can be up to or around 40 degrees Fahrenheit in an hour, it says.
Yeah.
Wet plus wind
feels
equals
like
fastest onset.
Situation.
Right? So 19% of... I don't know what that word says. Fastest onset of... I don't actually know what WA stands for there. I would think Washington, but I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, running on. Getting lost and exposure is 42 people. That's 6%.
I was going to guess that was way higher.
No, I guess not.
This is the availability heuristic at play.
But I would think that, like, it would be higher if they included hypothermia, because I would include hypothermia in this if they separated it. This is 6%.
And hypothermia also just makes you unable to think, so you're probably more likely to get lost.
Right. Right, exactly. So I guess this is getting lost while not cold.
Yeah.
Getting lost comfortable.
Comfortably lost.
Comfortably lost, but not comfortable with being lost.
Right.
Dehydration and exposure, once disoriented, most preventable with offline map and telling someone your route. It's just like some stats there. And then 28 people, 4%, was avalanche. Colorado and Utah account for most U.S. avalanche deaths. Backcountry snowshoers increasingly at risk.
Yeah.
Then 21 people, or 3%, is rockfall or terrain hazards. So loose canyon walls, unstable cliffs.
Yep.
You're
listing all this stuff, and I'm just thinking of this specific place where I'm scared of the thing
right,
that you're describing.
And this is North Cascades. Rock quality is especially poor.
Yeah.
The North Cascades were sketchy.
No, it's part of the reason why I haven't done Long's Peak, is I've heard that.
I don't want to.
It's like that's a notorious place where people kick down rocks.
I have no interest.
Yeah.
Then 8 people is for lightning on trail. That's 1.2% of hiker fatalities.
Yeah.
Exposed ridge lines and summits. Colorado 14ers are the most dangerous in the U.S. for it.
Of course.
5 or less than 1% is wildlife attack. Only 5 animal deaths on NPS land over 8 years.
A number's probably higher since that data was collected.
Grizzlies are most likely to be fatal.
Yeah.
And then 15 are undetermined, around 2%. NPS classifies 14% of all park deaths as undetermined due to remote conditions.
Yeah.
So that's our list.
Okay. Ways to die in the backcountry.
Ways to die.
Nice. To the Trek propaganda portion of today's show. This segues so well off of the bonus segment that we just ran. You'll have to tune in Thursday to get that. But I'm just going to do one of these. I'm going to do the news piece by Kelly. This is Hikers Discover Human Remains near Vermont Appalachian Trail. Hikers in Vermont's Green Mountain National Forest discovered what appeared to be human foot bones inside a partially buried pair of hiking boots late last month, prompting an investigation near Mount Tabor. A follow-up search on May 4th turned up additional remains, outdoor gear, and personal items nearby, though authorities haven't said whether the discovery was on or near the AT. I don't know if that's been updated since.
Yeah, I would like an update.
Yeah. But on the list of spooky things to discover while in the backcountry, finding a foot in a boot, that feels like something straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm Googling it because I want to see if there's anything else. Of course, the first article is the Trek.
Nice. Hell yeah. Love that.
Yeah, it's from May 6th. What's happened since?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Question of the day. This might not be relevant to anyone but me. Although I think just the older we get, at least the older that I get, and I know this is a stereotype of our parents' age, just being able to remember names in general, it becomes, my brain feels much more like Swiss cheese every single day. But it's especially bad with celebrity names.
Yeah.
Like someone who's not a household name, whose name I've said out loud like 3 times in my life, and then I see their face and I recognize them. I can say the thing that they're in, but actually being able to pull out their name, it's getting harder and harder every single year.
I've never been good at it. And this part's hard because it's also, how do I describe them if I don't know their name? I'm trying to describe a vague face that I remember.
Yeah. Jabba's surprisingly good at the celebrity recall thing. My buddy Alex Wysocki, he's an encyclopedia for this shit.
Garrett's good at it, not me though.
But is there a particular celebrity where it doesn't matter how many times you've been like, oh yeah, that's it. If I asked you the next day, it's gone?
Yeah, I thought we were doing this as a triple crown, so I came prepped with 3.
Okay.
The girl who looks like Zooey Deschanel but isn't.
Zendaya.
No. This is a girl that looks like her. She's got the same bangs, face. They look so similar. Google Zooey Deschanel look-alike. See, I can't remember her.
Deschanel look-alike celebrity? Katy Perry?
No.
Emily Blunt?
No.
Isn't Emily Blunt Jim from The
Emily
Office's
Blunt
wife?
is. She's no, it's not her.
John Krasnowski? Is that right?
That's the guy. That's
Yeah.
no, not that woman.
Am I even thinking of the right person?
No. God,
Here
she's
we
gonna
are
pop up
actively
in
doing it.
something.
Oh, I got that part right. Emily Blunt is Jim's
What does she
wife.
look like? No, that's not her then.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I thought Emily Blunt was the one in Devil Wears Prada.
I've never seen it, but she's in A Quiet Place, which I believe she
never
also
seen it.
directed. Quiet Place is that the name of it?
Wait, are you saying she was Jim's wife in A Quiet Place or in The Office?
Jim's wife in A Quiet Place. I
haven't seen A Quiet Place.
Did she direct that, or John Krasinski did?
Wait, show me what she looks like. It could be her then.
Now I have to know who directed it. I mean, this is not going to help you because she's blonde there. I don't think they look that much alike, so I don't think that's correct.
Who's that girl? No, it's not her either. Okay, I don't know. I don't even know who it is.
Yeah.
There's a girl that looks like her. She's got similar hair, and it's never Zoe. It's always this other woman, and she's in some stuff that I don't remember, and I don't remember her when she's there either.
Yeah.
So her. My second one.
Quick aside, as I gather that you like horror movies?
No.
Scary movies?
No.
Oh.
I like things that have no conflict, have
Okay.
love, and are happy.
Okay. I don't like scary movies typically. I thought A Quiet Place was excellent.
Really?
It's really good.
I don't like scary movies typically, but I like ones that have a good plot. Like that
Yeah.
are actually good in plot. I don't like jump scares. I think those are cheap tricks. And I don't like when they over rely on gore to make up for the fact that there's no substance in their plot.
A Quiet Place is literally like once the bad guys enter the equation, there's like no dialogue in the entire movie. It's like literally all plot, cinematography, just conceptually, just really unique and well done, I thought.
Okay, great. I'm in. Maybe I'll watch it one day. My next one. And I wrote these down how I remember them because again I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that I'm sending us on a goose chase each time. The hot guy, I think his name starts with a J. He's a brunette and he's in Recent Things.
I don't even know what Recent Things is, but let's
No, it's not. That's not the name of a movie.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just like he's in things that are recent.
Yeah, that's
He's just some hot guy with
that's
hot
the worst clue
actor,
of all time. I wouldn't even know where to
J
start.
name. Hot actor.
John
J
Hamm.
name. No.
John Krasinski.
He's got like a foreign name or something.
Oh, definitely not gonna be able to help you out then.
Oh.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Ah!
Jimmy Carr.
I found him. Jacob Elordi. He's in Euphoria.
Okay. Jacob Elordi.
Every time he's on like an ad or something, I've never seen Euphoria, but I'm like, oh, who's that? And Garrett's like, that's Jacob Elordi. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, you know who that is. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. There's just nothing really memorable about his face.
Sure.
But it's not a bad one.
Yeah.
I think he's in like stuff lately. Apparently he's like a name that I should know. I guess he's been on SNL.
He looks like a darker haired version of the guy in the Hunger Games.
Oh, okay. I could see like a PETA.
Yeah, PETA.
Okay, great. And then my last one is the guy with the weird face who asked people to stop telling him he has a weird face.
Adam Driver?
No. This guy has he's got a very like a rectangle kind of shaped head, and apparently no. He's young. People have been he's in that movie with the horns. And people keep being like, you're so weird looking. And then he did an interview where he was like, that hurts my feelings. I get it. I'm not attractive. Like, can we please stop pointing it out?
Looking head guy, horns.
Like the animal horns.
Yeah, I'm getting some
animal
weird
horn
results.
movie.
I put in too many descriptors.
Oh my god, he's got like. What the fuck is his name? He's in what's that movie? It's creepy. I didn't watch it. There's like a mansion-y looking house. People have like animal horns on their head. It's like an extravagant party kind of vibe, but also foggy and creepy.
With Tom Cruise and
I don't know.
Nicole Kidman.
I don't know. It was like a big thing for a minute. Or like the fleetingest of moments. It was a vibe.
Eyes Wide Shut? No, they're not horns in that movie.
It's like deer horns or something. I don't know. Okay, what else is he in? He was in oh gosh, I just saw this. The Peaky Blinders, not the show, but they just did
the movie?
They just did a movie with the something man. What was the name of the title?
The Immortal Man?
Yes, and he was the guy's son.
Tom Hardy.
No, that was the guy.
Finn Cole. I'm just going down the cast right now.
Peaky Blinders, Immortal Man, Son. Ah! Barry Keoghan. That guy.
Okay. I've never seen that guy's face in my life.
Sure you have. You don't forget this face.
Barry
Keoghan. You've never seen this man's face?
No. What else is he in?
The one with the animal horns and the creepy set. Where's his IMDb? Look at his face. You've never seen him?
I don't think so. What else has he been in?
That's what I'm looking. Saltburn. That's the one. Saltburn 2023.
I haven't.
I think they had.
Oh, Dunkirk. I did see Dunkirk, but I don't remember his face.
I thought they wore animal horns in Saltburn. Did I see a trailer?
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's got some interesting features for sure.
Yeah, well, apparently people have been mean to him, and he went and did a thing where he was like, can you stop? Oh, look, here, he's got the animal horns on. Look, I wasn't wrong.
Okay.
See them?
Yeah, I believe you. And see it.
You didn't?
No,
Oh,
yeah.
I said I didn't see it.
It looks like something out of the Headless Horseman. What's that? Okay. I'm going to do mine.
Great.
I cheated because I had to look it up because otherwise we'd be doing this game.
Yeah.
Which apparently was, I guess,
Kinda fun.
more helpful. So I'll start with the one that I can never do. Like, if you ask me to give you his name tomorrow for like $1 million, I won't be able to do it. And that is, for whatever reason, Jason Sudeikis. I always just call him Ted Lasso because I look at his face and I just draw a fucking
Ted
blank.
Lasso.
That is Ted Lasso. And for whatever reason, there's nothing Sudeikis about him in my brain.
All Lasso.
Yeah.
I agree.
The other one, this one I am now good at. It'll probably take me a few seconds to pull out, but for whatever reason, Bradley Cooper was the hardest name for me to remember for the longest time. Even though he's in everything, he's a really good actor. Like I like Bradley Cooper.
I'd argue that's an easy one.
There's just something about him is not Bradley Cooper to me. Like, I want him to be John. Like, I want him to have a more basic bitch name.
Sure.
And Bradley Cooper's a little too off the beaten path. And then the other one that I was struggling with immensely the other day is not the lead character from Arrested Development, but the tall guy who's probably the funniest. He's got the deep voice. He does like truck commercials.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've never seen Arrested Development?
I probably have. I just can't picture it.
Will Arnett.
Sorry? Is he the one in Bird Box that holds the woman's eyes open and makes her look out the window?
I don't think so. Will Arnett, Bird Box? No, Bird Box is the, oh shit.
Who's this guy then?
Will Arnett does comedies, I think.
Who's that? That's not him?
No, different. Very different.
Oh. Show me his face again.
Let's go to the images page.
It's not the same person. It looked the same for a second. They're very different.
Yeah. But he also has a very popular podcast with... Oh, God damn it.
Can you not remember his name?
No, it's the other guy from Arrested Development. And Jack from Will and Grace. Jason Bateman. Smartless is the name of the podcast. Anyways, I'm sure it was painful for people to listen to. That's why we're here, is to ruin your day audibly. I'll come back to the thing of the week after. Let's do the Triple Crown first.
Okay.
Sponsored by Onyx. Use code TREK70 for 70% off a premium plan at Onyx Backcountry. Onyx Backcountry is the shit. I want you to participate. You're going to have to speculate a little bit here to make this work, but this was inspired by a gift that we were given recently of This is the triple crown of the worst gifts to give young kids.
You about to just shit all over a gift you got recently?
It was from another parent, so I think they might have done it in jest. But yeah, our I think it was one of the twins, Oliver, I think, came home with a whistle.
That's bad.
It's so bad.
That's really bad.
It's like we made the rule that you can only blow it outside, and I went out to throw the ball for Sierra in the yard, or the big field behind our house. And I'm far away from the house, and all I can hear is just the fucking whistle blaring off in the distance. And 3-year-olds don't understand rules. Rules don't really apply. Like, they get joy out of breaking rules, so they're blowing the whistle nonstop. I think Jenna ended up throwing the one whistle away, and then they had a meltdown, so we got more whistles. So then both twins had whistles. And then finally I broke down, and I just threw them away. But yeah, a whistle is an excruciating present from the parent's perspective. Do not ever give a young kid a whistle. It's a nightmare.
I maybe, I'm not going to speculate as much as I thought, because one of mine was going to be anything that makes noise.
I mean, kids love stuff that makes noise, so they're going to gravitate toward that. But the amount of decibels that the toy can produce is definitely indicative of how painful that toy is going to be for the parent. Like, to be a parent, you just have to be ready to be going through a torture chamber at most times, especially when they're young. Like, I've been listening to the Moana soundtrack nonstop for 4 years now. Thankfully, it's a very good soundtrack, but any song on repetition that much is going to drive you crazy. That, compared to a whistle, is like music to my ears. A whistle for anything longer than a couple seconds is a real, it's a POW tactic.
Yeah, well... That sounds like a situation I wouldn't want to be in.
It's not good.
I'm sorry.
It's not good.
My first one is going to be stickers.
Yeah.
Because stickers never go in a book or where you think that they should go. Stickers go on windows and on cabinets and on bedroom doors and lampshades. They don't come off that easily. And they're going to leave residue or take things with them. And yeah, so if you hate your house, stickers.
The good kid stickers are not that sticky for that exact reason, because stickers they never land where they're intended. Jenna just took a photo of my back the other day, and I didn't even know, but one of the kids had stuck like 14 stickers to my shirt. Like, I would have gone around the rest of the day just having stickers on my shirt, not knowing it. But yeah, kids, when we go to the doctor's office, it's just a bowl of stickers. Like, kids always love stickers.
I love stickers, but I get sticker fatigue.
Yeah.
Which is hard with like Nalgene's and things these days.
Sure.
My Yeti cooler has not one sticker on it because I just can't commit.
The good kid stickers like come in sheets, and they're not that sticky. They're easy to pull off the thing, because that way you don't have to like sit there and individually peel them off and give them to your kid. Like, they can get to it, but yeah, they come off pretty easily. Like, the stickers that you can buy in most places for adults, quote unquote, that is not a good gift for a kid, because that'll get stuck to a window, and then you've got a problem on your hand.
Right, yeah. Okay, my next one is going to be trying to figure out how specific I should be. Okay, I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to narrow it down to the story. Anything really sweet. Like an edible sweet thing.
Like candy?
Yeah, like candy, or like a baked good, like a brownie, or like cake, or anything that's going to get them just like all jazzed up.
Yeah.
Or like anything that implies that they would have any level of like self-preservation. For example, I got a gumball, like it was like a make your own gum factory kit, whatever, and it came with gum. You just put it into these little molds that like shaped it. Like, it just took a piece of gum and basically just cookie stamped a shape on it, and it was like
a Play-Doh kit.
Now you have your gum, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how cheap the entertainment was because you were young.
Yeah.
I said, fuck this. I just ate all the gum.
Yeah,
and so I remember sitting on the couch with what was an entire box factory's worth of gum to produce with just in my mouth at the same time, and I couldn't chew. I couldn't close my mouth. It was just like gooing out because it was just like saliva that I couldn't swallow. I could have choked.
Yeah, that sounds like a lockjaw situation.
I should have choked. Who left me unattended with it?
Yeah, it's in hindsight.
I had to pull it out with my hand, and then because I was a person who swallowed my gum.
Yeah.
So I was trying to swallow it all, and I couldn't get it down, so I had to pull it out and break it into bits so I could swallow it bit by bit.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
The content around kids choking on stuff is plentiful. Once you get into that algorithm, you learn about all the things that are choking hazards for kids. I actually don't remember if gum is one of them, but I don't think most people are giving
Should
their
be.
kids gum.
No, exactly. What a
Yeah.
terrible gift.
And if you're consuming gum in that quantity, yeah, that seems like a bad idea.
And it also overlaps into, I don't think you're going to have this one, but if you are, we can just cut it. But I think gum overlaps into the slime category, where that's going to go in the carpet. And it's not coming out.
Yeah, no. The whole thing about being a parent, especially to young kids, is recognizing problems before they become problems.
Yeah.
Prevention is the name of the game.
I got slime once, and then I got it taken away so fast, and the carpet had a stain.
Yeah, no, our carpet looks like hell. We don't, to the point it's disgusting, and we have no thoughts of replacing it just because it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
We can't get nice stuff at our house because everything gets ruined very quickly. Yeah. Okay, slimy stuff, gum for sure. My next one is kind of in the same vein as a carpet ruiner, but really any marker that doesn't wash out of everything very easily. You can keep kids contained to a certain space and give them paper to go draw and stuff, and then as soon as you go off to go to the bathroom or just do anything where you're not on top of them, I've caught my kids with markers drawing on the walls. They literally will draw on the carpet, and they know that it's wrong. We're talking about the twins. Leo's a good boy. But they just love to, they're little cavemen. They want to leave their mark on things. They're doing hieroglyphics everywhere they can on the house. And most of the time, kids' markers are made because they know that kids are cavemen. They wash out pretty easily. But occasionally you get some of the cheap stuff, and you have to scrub, and it just leaves a residue. So yeah, markers that aren't extremely water soluble suck as a parent.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's an easy one. Your turn again.
Last one for me. I do have one honorable mention.
I do too.
Really any toy that has more than 8 parts. If it requires a lot of pieces for the toy to operate, it's going to get lost. It's going to get lost really quickly. It doesn't matter how organized you are. Maybe I'm just speaking to people who have young boys, because I imagine girls aren't quite as bad. But things get thrown, things get temper tantrumed. They move from the upstairs to the basement and back from the basement to the upstairs. You just never know where anything is. And then once you've got 80% of a toy, you might as well have 0% of the toy.
Right.
It becomes a meltdown because it's not able to function properly. And then you get 15 of those toys where they have a bunch of pieces. Before you know it, your house is just like a piece farm. You have all these individual plastic pieces that don't make sense and just compile on top of each other. You're living in a dumpster of chaos, and yeah, I'm describing my house to you
Yeah,
right
I
now.
was going to say, this sounds personal.
Nothing brings me more satisfaction than just throwing all these things into a bag and taking it to Goodwill, because the clutter in my house does not jive with my thru-hiker sensibilities of trying to keep things simple and light.
Yeah, I wish I knew where all of my stuffed animals and things that I had love for went, because I think my parents were of the same mindset where they just threw it out.
Yeah.
And were like, we got to get rid of this shit.
I'm glad that Goodwill exists, because I would feel
still
bad.
have it today.
Yeah.
All
for
8
sure.
of my stuffed animal dogs that were not real.
I understand the struggle. Only a small fraction. When you first have kids, you want to spoil them and give them all of the stuff. And then all of a sudden, you've got friends and family that are giving them gifts. And, we've just stopped giving our kids gifts altogether. We'll get them, a nice thing. We got them a trampoline for the twins' birthday. Do stuff like that occasionally. But, in terms of getting the small stuff that you get at a grocery store or a toy store or on Amazon, we've just stopped that altogether. But friends and family haven't gotten the memo, and we still just collect plastic shit.
Yeah. Okay, my last one is small animals, like a fish that goes in a bowl and not like a regulated tank, like a bowl where you have to actually change the bowl water daily. That fish is dying. Hermit crabs, I've suffered through those. They don't die. Snails, I loved snails growing up because I was allergic to things with fur. And so in school we had a snail like farm, whatever, and then you got to take home a snail at the end of the teaching lesson thing. Well, I was a teacher's pet, and so I got to take home 2 snails because they were extras. So then I had my 2 snails, and then I was playing with them in the porch, and I lost a snail, and then my teacher gave me a snail to replace the snail I lost. And then I had 2 snails again, and then I think at the very end there was like some unclaimed snails, so maybe she gave me 1 more, and then I had 3 snails. Then I found the 4th snail, aka the second snail,
Beautiful.
under the plastic like Fisher Price desk, and then I had 4 snails.
Snail zoo.
Then the snails had babies, and there were hundreds of these baby snails all in this tank. And the clearest shells, like it was like see-through. It was so cool. And I think around then is when my dad snapped because I came home one day and my snail tank was not there, and he was outside washing it out with a hose. And I asked him where my snails went, and he just said away.
At least with snails, you can just put them outside, and I assume.
I don't know what he
do
did
well.
with them.
Yeah,
I don't
can't
know
imagine.
where he put them.
It's not like I don't know. It's not like a dog or something like that, where like if you just leave it outside, you're basically killing it, or something bad is going to happen to it. Like, with a snail, I feel like it's like, all right, this is where I live now.
Yeah, but he's also like an avid vegetable gardener. Is he about to release hundreds of snails in his own yard?
Oh.
Absolutely not. Right? Because they
yes.
eat leaves and shit.
Sure.
So now you think, where did he put the snails?
Yeah.
This is unresolved. He's gonna listen to this. He's never given me the real answer on where the snails went.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do that because then your kid's gonna be 34, sitting on a freaking podcast talking about these snails that she's never gotten over because she's never had closure.
Yeah.
Just don't get them a small pet.
Speaking of good gifts for kids, books. Books is the best.
And especially when on the front, like when you open the front cover and that's where you write your card. So it's like, Leo, happy birthday,
just like a
love,
little note. Yeah,
Zach,
yeah.
you know. And
Then you immortalize it.
And then, it's always in the book when they open it, and
Yep.
it's cute.
Yeah.
You put a little date on there.
I'm always happy. And now when I give kid gifts to friends or whatever, it's always a book because all 3 of our boys love books. Books don't get old. It's not like an odd distraction. Some of the books are a little gimmicky, like when this stuff like pops up. If you've got young boys, they're gonna rip that shit right out,
Yep.
and then that becomes a problem. So the more simple, let the content of the book speak for itself. When there's like buttons that you push where it makes noise, like that's gonna break, and then that's gonna become a problem. Just pick good books.
Yeah.
But to your point about gardens, I learned recently through one of Leo's books that apparently ladybugs are like amazing for gardens.
Yeah, they are.
They eat all the aphids.
Yeah, and there's certain plants that you can get that attract ladybugs.
Yeah, and I guess like farms in California were introducing them by like the tens of thousands to help like save their crops as opposed to using pesticides.
Oh, that's cool.
Kids' books are the shit.
Yeah, you learn things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Sweet. My one honorable mention is just like cheap toys from Amazon that are made in China, because when you open them and they first work, they're really cool, but because they're cheap, they're not made well and they break instantly, and then the fall off from going to a toy that they really like to it not functioning is that gap is greater than the joy that they get from not ever having it to receiving it. So you've created more net disappointment than anything else. So yeah, just I understand it's tempting to get cheap gifts. Again, just go with a book, please, for the love of God. Books are the best.
Yeah.
And these cheap toys suck. There's also one toy in particular. God, what is the name of it? It's just like a sharp dragon. I think it's a 3D printed toy.
A sharp dragon?
Yes. So yeah.
What is he?
I don't know, but somehow we've gotten 3 of those, so I imagine that they're pretty common. I think they come from 3D printers. I'm not entirely sure. But that is a fucking terrible toy because all toys just get left out on the
I
ground.
was gonna say, if you step on that, you're dying.
I've stepped on it multiple times. Jenna has actually like cut her skin open. These things are fucking like, yeah, it's like putting a grenade on the ground, or bear trap or something.
I hate that.
Yeah, do not get here on Amazon specifically. Large 3D printed dragon.
Yep,
said
this is a thing.
This is a 30-inch. So don't get any size.
30-inch large dragon?
Yeah, these 3D printed dragons are the fucking bane of every parent's existence. Do not
That's
get that.
funny.
Cool. I do have a thing of the week.
Okay.
I think I've been alluding to this for a few episodes now.
Yep.
This is Rachel wrote it in as parenting thing of the week. I'm gonna call it stupid thing of the week.
Okay.
But there was some thing where Leo was talking to us at night, and he was just like doing a fib about something normal for a kid of his age to do. But I was trying to impress upon him that lying is not good, and I did so with the old tale, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And as I'm telling the story, I realized that I don't really remember the story. So as is often the case here in this podcast, like I have the overall concepts down, but like some of the details I'll miss. So I'm telling him.
How don't you remember the plot? It's all in the name.
Well, so I know I have the concept of the boy lying about a wolf.
He keeps saying the wolf comes to get the sheep and goes down to town, and then the town people come to help, but there's no wolf.
Right.
And then finally the wolf comes, and he goes down and tells the town people, and then they don't come because they don't believe him, and then the wolf gets all the sheep.
Yes. So vaguely I had that. A key ingredient that I missed in the story was the sheep.
What?
I had remembered it that he like was on the outskirts of town, and a wolf was coming to get him. He cried wolf. The townspeople came and rescued him. Did it again.
Why would he keep going back to the edge of town?
Well, it's an old fable. People come out. The third time he goes out, he encounters a wolf. He yells to the townspeople to come save him. They don't come, and the wolf eats him. And just like the look of terror in his eyes. So I think conceptually I drove home the importance of not lying, because people will stop believing you. I think my version of it was a little too
If you lie, you're going to get eaten by a wolf at night?
Yeah.
So did he fess up?
We had already gone over that lying was bad before then. I was just using that story to illustrate the point.
Right, really driving home.
But then he actually corrected me, because apparently that's something that he had been taught in school. He's like, Dad, I thought there were sheep in that story.
No.
And then Jenna's like, yeah, there are sheep in that story. I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. Yeah.
That's so funny.
But he was a little terrified. But he's old enough and smart enough to know how I messed the story up. So yeah, that was we'll call it parenting thing of the week.
I'm
Definitely
just
a stupid
picturing you
thing.
sitting there being like, oh, fuck. And then the wolf ate him. The end.
I looked at Jenna before I delivered the end, and I'm like, I don't think this is gonna go well. I knew what I was gonna say was atrocious, but that's the best version of it that I can remember. It was the wolf eating the boy.
So funny.
So yeah, don't lie, kids. The wolf will get you. Mailbag. Nope, I lied. I have a sun hoodie. This is technically the second sun hoodie that I've reviewed. I'll have another one in next week's episode with Jabba. This is the Pekka. Jeez, what's the name of it?
It looks soft.
It is very soft. That is the best feature of this. Hold on. The Soul Hoodie by Pekka. Mine weighs at 9.6 ounces. This is the large. All of the sun hoodies I'm testing are larges. Price point's $99. This is in the middle of the three. I'm kind of foreshadowing next week's episode, but this one is cheaper than the North Face that I've already reviewed. As Chance mentioned, you can feel it.
Oh, that's nice.
It's very soft, and this is after a wash and me wearing it a few times. And it's, I want to say it's like 17%. What is this specific wool? I don't want to get this wrong, because this is like it's a very high end. It's not just regular merino. Oh gosh, where is it?
Alpaca? By the name Pekka?
It is alpaca, but royal alpaca. Apparently that's like a specific.
Royal alpaca.
Yeah.
Like of the royal lineage.
I guess. Apparently that's like a really high quality alpaca wool.
Wow.
So to give it the proper wool testing, I wore it on a run, and then the next day we went on that hike with over at Galbraith, and then was that all I did before I washed it? I had back-to-back sweating events in it, and it didn't stink. I've since washed it because I think I left it in a pile and it was starting to get nasty for that reason. But it passes the wool test, even though it's only a small percentage of alpaca. It's only 14%, which for like a alpaca blend is on the low side. From my research, I think because it is such a high quality alpaca, it doesn't need as much wool to get like the benefits of being anti-odor and all that good stuff. The Tencel is a really good fabric for heat for a natural fabric, and it's really soft. That being said, for hot weather hiking, which is, again, the context for which I'm testing these in, and I think what's important to a 3-season backpacker, this one's just too hot for me. Like, it doesn't...
Yeah.
It wicks the moisture well, but it holds on to it. So when you get sweaty, it just holds on to that moisture, which is like cooling compared to cotton, but compared to like a thinner polyester fabric where it actually like removes it and it will evaporate faster. It just sits too hot for me.
It feels like a very nice sit on the couch and watch a movie fabric.
Yeah, I mean, for like a cooler, like early fall, or even like for today's weather, I think this would be a really good piece. Yeah, this definitely has a place. I think overall this is a nice piece. Again, just for the context of like hot PCT, CDT style through hiking, this would be too hot for me. But overall, nice piece. I just personally would not opt into this one.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with the quality of this. I'd heard a lot about it and lived up. Chance boobs. What? I forgot what I gave.
I did too.
The REI piece. I don't want to say what I gave because that's the next episode. This one I like better than the REI. I think it's probably warmer than the REI one even. 5.3 chance boobs.
All right. This is fun.
I haven't retroactively graded the North Face one. These are all subject to change because I'm still testing
Did
a
we
lot of
not
these.
grade the North Face one? I thought
No,
we did.
because it was the first one that I did. I didn't have like enough context to like give it a comparative situation. I'm gonna go with 7.1 chance boobs. So that one's in the lead right now.
That's a lot of chance boobs.
I'm gonna go when I get to like my top 5. I'm gonna start to cycle through those top 5 over and over again, so I can get a better idea of durability. And like this is limited with me just using it in small amounts. I have 14 or 18 of these to test, so that's the reason for that. But yeah, that's where we are.
You can give us the chance boob, but you can take it away.
It's true.
Okay.
Bye.
Episode number 143 made a contractor. I think I was watching porn in my work truck, but I still love you guys. Oh, hold on. I didn't read that with the right cadence. Episode 143 made a contractor think I was watching porn in my work truck, but I still love you guys. That sounds more better.
That makes sense.
Hi, Zach. Parentheses, Zach with a K, question mark. I'm not going to bother to look it up, which is correct because this gives me an excuse to tell you I have a friend, Zach with an H, who says Zachs with an H are superior to Zachs with a K, and I'd like to hear your input and Chance.
As a Zach with an H, I would agree with that friend.
Yeah, Garrett's very particular about the 2 R's, 2 T's, and like really does not like a 1-T'd Garrett.
Sure. I'm sure people fuck that up all the time too.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And Chance. I don't know if that meant he wanted my opinion too. I agree. The H is
superior.
Less. It's just less like the K is kind of.
K's dated.
Just looks a little more mean. I discovered BPR as one of the ultimate results of YouTube suggesting Liz Kidder's 2025 PCT hike videos. Love her. You should have her back on again. Which I followed fervently all summer. I'd never realized backpacking had come far technology-wise and was something one could do without suffering immensely under a 50-pound plus pack. At 5'3", that's like 40% of my body weight. As a West Coast native, I hope to take my first backpacking trip this summer and hopefully try out the Timberline Trail.
Nice.
It's like 2 hours from me, and PCT in 2027.
Hell yeah.
Naturally, after listening to her episode, I started at episode 1 and have been religiously knocking out 2 to 3 episodes a day, Monday through Friday at work. Oh my God. I am an underground utility locator, one of those people who is summoned when someone calls 811 and draws the rainbow hieroglyphs on the ground so contractors know where the utilities are and don't dig into gas mains or take out the internet/power. Honestly, people that listen to this are really cool.
I didn't even know 811 was a thing.
I didn't even know.
Wait, what do you call 811 for?
I don't know. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to sound like I don't know things.
Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot.
What does it mean?
In the United States, 811 is the national call before you dig phone number. Anyone planning on an excavation project, whether it's a large construction job or a simple backyard project like planting trees or installing a mailbox must call 811 or visit 811 before you dig website. The more you know.
I don't know that. Have you ever called anyone before digging?
Yeah, totally, all the time.
Yeah.
every
good
time.
thing I learned that before moving into my new house.
Yeah.
I thought...
I'm not doing too much digging, in fairness, but...
Yeah, I guess so, but... Okay. Well,
I mean,
something.
I definitely... No, never mind.
Anyway, and drive around from worksite to worksite spraying paint on the ground. Podcasts are nice when you don't want to end up sick of your own music when a road trip comes around. I have no plans to skip ahead and see if you end up reading this on air, so it'll be like 3 months at the earliest before I get to hear this. By which time my uneducated ADHD ass will probably have forgotten I sent this, which will be absolutely hilarious. I am now on episode 143, and while I have enjoyed every episode, I don't think I've laughed harder than I did during this one, especially during the Shaming Chance segment. I didn't remember we had that. Sorry, Chance, I love you. You are my spirit animal, and I admire that you put yourself out there and do hilarious shit despite your insecurities. Also, give me all the money in your wallet.
I'm kicking myself for not having the iPad plugged in right now.
I'm loving it. Now, on to the title story. I got to a job site in the middle of the Orgasms with Olive Garden segment. Wish I could remember that. Unplugged my phone, did my thing, came back to the truck. As Apple CarPlay, as Zach knows and hates, likes to autoplay the second you plug your phone in. While annoying, this normally isn't an issue because I work alone. Except this time...
Oh, I think it's the audio clip we have of you.
Oh, the pasta?
Yeah.
No, because that was when I was eating pasta that I had at Garrett's house.
Yeah.
It wasn't in an Olive Garden.
I don't remember.
Anyway. Alpaca, except this time I was bringing a contractor over to look at some utility maps on my work laptop. I plugged my phone in. Chance moaned, it is that. Chance moaned. I yelled, it's not porn, it's a hiking podcast, and she just really likes pasta. Thankfully, the blue-collar world is full of dirtbags, and he just asked me if work had really been that stressful and ran off, probably to tell his buddies the locator was flicking the bean in the work truck. But it's fine. I'll only be back here at least once a month for the next until I quit to hike the PCT. Bonus non-hiking poop story. 811 usually has a 2-business-day response time, but sometimes shit happens after hours, like drunk people crashing into power poles and sewer lines backing up. That requires an emergency locate, so every couple of months I go on call and get summoned to said emergencies should they arise. Pros, it's double time and usually just like 1 to 3 hours of paid driving with maybe 20 minutes of actual work. Cons, drunk people like to hit poles at 2 a.m., so you're often woken up out of a dead sleep and you can't drink or go too far from home for the week for obvious reasons. One time I got called out to the middle of the night pole emergency on Hood River on the Oregon side of the Columbia, a bit east of Cascade Locks. It's about a 2-hour drive, mostly down a dark rural highway, so I got a 7-Eleven coffee on the way. All was well until I got to the emergency and got out of the truck. I could feel gravity, ignited by the 20-ounce concoction of a 7-Eleven latte I chugged on the way, take immediate effect on my guts. Fuck. Mercifully, I did not have to mark anything and was back in the truck within 5 minutes, cheeks clenched. However, it was still 2 a.m. and I was still on the side of a country road, surrounded by flashy light trucks, miles from any known bathroom. I took off, looking for any turnout that wasn't just someone's driveway. Maybe 10 minutes later, which is approximately 69420 years in I'm going to shit my pants time, I found a little road with a dozen mailboxes at the front. Perfect. I pulled into the conveniently placed parking spot in front of the mailboxes, shut my lights off, took my high-vis vest off, and shoveled into the woods as fast as one can, with straight legs and an ass clenched tight enough to turn coal into diamonds. I made it maybe 10 feet into the woods before yanking my pants down and unleashing a torrent of liquid shit. The kind of shit that, if taken on a toilet, would just sound like you were peeing. Instantly felt better, though, so that's nice. Wish that was the end of it. Frowny face. In my hurry to not shit in my truck, I didn't grab any of the emergency napkins anyone who has ever worked a job where the main bathroom is a porta potty knows is superior to the 0.5 ply those things are stocked with. I switched on my phone's flashlight and turned around, looking for a leaf or something so I didn't have to choose between pulling up my pants over an unwiped ass or hobbling back to the truck with my pants around my knees. I turned around only to see a trail camera. It had seen everything. Horrified, I stumbled back to my truck, hoping with every fiber of my being that the mailbox's trees and night had been enough to obscure the logo on my truck. I was too anxious to pull over and wipe my ass, so I just drove home, ran the world's smallest load of laundry, and took a shower. Spent the next week waiting for the come to the office that you haven't been to since your first day when you picked up your truck at the end of the day phone call. It never came, but there is a chance someone out there has a video of me pissing chunky chocolate milk out of my asshole. P.S. One time Zach asked if something on TV, I think one of the Love is Blind spinoffs, was dubbed, and now I have to ask, Zach, are you a secret weeb? If yes, what is your favorite anime? I don't know. What's a weeb?
I don't know.
Love you guys. Chance, I'm sorry if this email spawns the resurgence of those sound bites. Not really. They're hilarious. From Cassie. Thank you, Cassie. That was incredible.
Weeb is internet slang for a non-Japanese person who has an obsessive interest in Japanese culture, especially anime, manga,
that's
and
not
video
you.
games. That's not me. I don't even know the reference there, but holy shit, that is in the triple crown of listener emails.
Yeah.
Just the story's amazing, and it's incredibly written. Cassie, you were my hero.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I'm sorry for making your coworkers think you were listening to porn. I do just really like pasta.
That is just such a well-written shit story.
Yeah, which makes me think, now that we'll have more free time in our hands, we should revisit that Pooping in the Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one
The
has
project
to go in
collecting
it.
dust. Yeah, that would be the lead story for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cassie. You're awesome. 5-star review. Also, you guys can reach us podcast@thetrek.co if you want to send us a note, or go to backpackerradio.com to the submit a mail feature. Okay. This one is from Homeskillet503. Stick to hiking. I am writing to thank you for the hiking content, but ask that you try to keep your very wrong thoughts on medicine, health, nutrition to yourselves. At the very least, you could provide a mainstream health provider on to provide fact/evidence-based advice. Some of the very wrong advice on vitamin supplements could be actually harmful. For example, in town, electrolytes is wasteful at best and renal toxic at worst. I've learned so much from you all about hikes and gear. I just wish the cringe of discussing matters that you are not qualified to discuss would at least tone down. That is from Homeskillet503. Thank you so much for the review. You guys can have your review. We should probably address that first.
Yeah, you can say anything you want about us as long as it has 5 stars.
Yeah. I have to imagine this is in reference to Element.
Well, yeah, for example, daily electrolytes is wasteful at best and renal toxic at worst.
Yeah.
Is it wasteful? How?
If you have enough electrolytes in your system and you're consuming an electrolyte supplement, you're not actually you're just peeing it out.
What if that is your electrolyte supplement?
If you are deficient in electrolytes, then you are supplementing it. Then again, I'm not a doctor. Let me preface this: I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutrition expert. I don't have any specialty in any of this stuff. So anything that I say,
yeah, I guess
please
I'm doing exactly what they're mad about.
Just flush it down the toilet. But
well, okay, but how come? Okay. You can have caffeine every day in soda, and that's fine. But if you have an electrolyte and you're not supposed to, you're gonna have a renal collapse.
Again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to directly comment on this. But to my understanding, I'm assuming the reference to daily in town is from us promoting the sparkling cans, which has 500 milligrams of sodium, which is the amount of sodium in a tortilla or a large pickle. So I guess it is possible if somebody has kidney disease and they consume sodium at that level, it could possibly create issues. I'm not a doctor, but the same is true for a whole host of foods. A half a gram of sodium is in so many things that we eat. To say that an element can is the thing that pushes you over the edge, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
I just think we've given worse medical advice
for
than
sure.
that. So that's just
and
a
worse
weird one to
backpacking
pick.
advice. Yeah, I mean, I will say, if you are eating a high sodium diet and you're not exercising, you probably don't need any electrolyte supplement. Period. We try to promote this as a backpacking supplement
And a hangover supplement.
Just-
I stand by that.
That
helps me immensely.
I'll just speak for myself personally. Don't put anything in your body without talking to a doctor, which I am not, but it makes me feel way better. I sweat a lot. I go to the gym a lot. I'm in the sauna a lot. I sweat a lot when I exercise. I've had hyponatremia, and I can say with great confidence that I feel better when I'm consuming this stuff in that context. Again, if you have issues with sodium, definitely talk to your doctor. This may be not the right thing for you. They're not a sponsor of today's episode. But just personally speaking, I have had hyponatremia from a salt imbalance of not having enough salt, and Element has been a benefit to my life. And I'm sure there's lots of people where it could have an opposite effect. Speak to your doctor. We're not doctors.
Yeah, at least I learned today that electrolytes are controversial. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have feedback, again, as long as it's 5 stars, we'll read it. We're not hiding it or scared of it, or I don't know. I'm a little scared of it.
We're not bearing any 5-star reviews here.
No, 5 stars though, because it's a give and take. If you're gonna give us shit, we have to take 5 stars.
For sure. And if you screenshot your review, email us podcast@thetrek.co. We'll send you a Backpacker Radio sticker. That goes for you too, Home Skillet. Thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to today's title sponsor, that is Topo Athletic. Oh fuck, what's the code?
There's a 15 in it,
Yeah,
I think.
Trek 15 Topo at checkout at topoathletic.com. Their footwear is the best. I wear it exclusively while backpacking nowadays. The Pursuit 2s have treated me very well. I recently retired my red pair, and the uppers are still in great condition. Doing it mostly because my knees are bad, and I want the cushiest midsole possible. The longer you wear them, any midsole is going to get condensed, and that's where I am. I'm on a new pair. I'm excited about it. It's like after getting a car wash or something like that, like you feel like a new person, or a haircut. It's like a new pair of trail runners. It's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to take on the day.
Yeah, I have the personality where unless my trail runners are like visibly not usable, I feel like I can't replace them yet.
They're
not dead yet,
Yeah.
So I wore mine when we went to do Galabreath together the other day, and they were still great, and they still worked, and they're not broken, so I'm not fixing them. And that's how I end up hiking with blowouts for like 900 miles on other trails. But the mindset, I think, is a fair one. I think there's something that everyone refuses to replace unless they absolutely have to. For me, it's shoes.
Yeah.
So this is a good shoe for me to have with that personality.
For sure. If I had better knees, I would do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Topos are the best. I've heard a lot of good things about the mountain racers. I might have to give those a shot next. But again, use our code, Trek 15 Topo.
You did.
For 15% off your order. Also use code Trek 70 when you get a premium plan with Onyx Backcountry. Onyx Backcountry is great.
Yeah, it's user friendly, which is all a girl can ask for.
Yeah. Thank you to our Bob Peoples Award winners on Patreon. That is Alex and Misty with Navigators Crafting, Alex Kindle, Andrew, Austin McDaniel, Bill Jensen, and Brad and Blair from 13 Adventures, Brent Mullins, a.k.a. Cruzy, Brian Alsop, Carl Lobster Hood, Christopher Marshburn, Clint Sittler, Coach from Marion Outdoors, Eric Casper,
The Friendly Ghost,
Eric Hoffman, Ethan Harwell Dunn, Jillian Daniels, Greg Knight, Greg Martin, Griffin Hay, Would You Bring Me a Beer, Haley Buckingham,
Palace,
Jackson Storm,
Trooper,
Jared, not from Subway, Jason Kaiser, Jason the Snailer, Luke Netches, Maddie in Arizona, Patrick C. in Seattle, Randy Sutherland, Rebecca Braveheart, Rural Juror, Sawyer Products, The St. Louis Shaman, Timothy Hahn,
Solo,
and Tracy Trigger. Thanks to our guy Paulie at Old Man Murph's Coffee Roasters. Go to ommcr.com. Get yourself some delicious beans.
and he's doing some little tour.
Yeah.
Little tour. That's demeaning.
A local.
A little in terms of the distance
Geographically.
from place to place,
Yeah.
right? Like a geographically small area tour. I looked because I wanted to see if we could go, but he wasn't coming to Denver. But he's doing a tour.
I'm trying to
So
see.
if you're in the area, you should go look it up. We're finding the info on it now.
I'm trying to find.
It was on his Instagram.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his Instagram right now. Is this it? No, fuck.
He tends to change the handle, which is confusing.
Yeah, you guys know how to search. Look up Paulie Boy Shallcross on Instagram. Find
Yeah.
him. And if you're in the Northwoods, go check him out. Paulie's an exceptionally talented boy,
And there's many places you can do that.
for sure. You can follow us on social at Backpacker Radio on Instagram and TikTok and Threads, Facebook.com/Backpacker Radio. You can follow Chance.
You can find me on Instagram at Juliana_Chauncey, on YouTube at Juliana Chauncey, and you can get my book Hiking from Home, a long distance hiking guide for family and friends on Amazon.
Appalachian Trials and Pacific Crest Trials are my books. Chance and I would be grateful for a review on
Yes,
Amazon.
please.
Subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on YouTube.
Hi, Internet.
SubTube. That is it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening, and happy hiking.
Bye.